Oh, okay. So it's okay to talk. Okay.
Yeah,
Every
He
yeah.
time I
was.
every
Do
time
you
I
know?
challenge somebody, it always turns into
Well,
a
his
dispute.
Dr. Dr. Anderson, his motivation was when kids leave their parents' home in high school, they're basically protected. The parents think they're wonderful, and they get out in the world. Well, the world don't think they're wonderful. So, and there's a lot of kids that go to college and get brainwashed to a degree, and so because they don't know what they really believe, and they don't have the art to challenge authority, professors or whoever, and it sets them up for failure in some form or fashion.
But the first set of adversity, they ain't gonna know how to deal with it.
Hey, did we did,
Exactly.
did we get to be on the? I had an Amazon package. Did we get
I,
to be on
I
this part
have
of the
I
show
have
yet?
to I
Yeah,
have
He
to
just
pause
came
popped
because
in.
up.
We
He
was
He
just
just
waiting for
come
popped
back
back
you.
into the
on.
panel.
We was
Oh,
waiting for you.
okay. Yeah, I had to get an Amazon package from my door, man. Sorry about that. Yeah, my
Hey,
bad. Go
Golden.
ahead.
Welcome
Continue.
in.
My fault. My fault.
No, go
okay.
Yeah,
ahead.
no, we
I'm
can.
done.
Hey,
Go
let
ahead,
Golden
Golden.
up. Let Golden up, bro.
Yeah, okay. So
You got a
this is
request up.
Yeah, Golden got a request if she want to come up.
yeah. So this is my topic. Obviously, like this the way it's phrased, I didn't necessarily phrase it that way. Fifth had to like come up with like a Chat GPT TikTok friendly version because my version was a little bit polarizing, so I had to switch it to this. But yeah, do age of consent laws protect young people? What do you guys think?
No,
Say it again. Say it again.
Do age of consent laws protect young people?
no, I don't think it do.
No.
Well, you can elaborate on that if you want.
Okay, so I'm saying no, it don't because we wouldn't be in any situations, or there wouldn't be any situations like there are now if the age of consent laws protected the younger uh people in this world. Um, no one, like everybody would be going down for whatever it is that they did with a minor. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, parents wouldn't have their children um, if the
Oh,
laws had were used in the proper way.
Okay.
I'll go after you.
So that's why I said no. It
Okay.
don't protect the young people.
Nice. Okay. Um, Man of many, you can go ahead and respond. So you can go after Mila.
Yeah. So my dad met my mom when she was 15, and lo and behold, after that, here's our family. So I mean, I'm not one of these like victim people. I'm not victim bound. So like when something happens, I look at it like a judge would. Yeah, this is horrific crime, but the judge wants to hear the whole case, regardless. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So that's how I look at everything. I'm not a victim. So I don't look at things like from a victim standpoint. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's bad that anybody mess with anybody young, boy, man to boy, and woman to man to girl, and woman to boy. So it's bad. Yeah, that's bad. The idea of it's bad, but you do have little children out here doing things they shouldn't be doing. You know what I'm saying? Putting themselves in positions they shouldn't be putting themselves in too. You know what I mean? Now, I don't agree with that either, but I don't think that the law, to answer the question directly,
Mm-hmm.
because it doesn't protect, no, at all. Because if there was if the protection was the true goal, then it wouldn't be set so young. Because in my state, the age is 16.
Okay.
The age of consent is 16. I don't
Well,
think if my goal is to protect the youth, I wouldn't make it that young.
let me provide some historical context. So the historical context is in the late 1800s, probably I want to say 1890s to like the early 1900s. The age of consent was 7 years old to 10 years old, and then women were reformists and activists. They fought hard along with some men behind them. They fought hard, and they actually was able to get it to 18. right? Now, a lot of states in
Seven and ten?
America,
Are you
largely,
serious?
yes, I'm being serious. So the age of consent back then was 7 years old to 10 years old. And then women back then, they fought because and I think they were fighting for like women because women were getting taken advantage of course, but men were too, little boys were too, of course. And so they fought hard to get it to 18. Now, a lot of the states in America largely adopt the 18 of the age of consent, but like you said, there are some states that have 16. So, like this question that I asked, that I wanted to, it's a multifaceted question because I have a lot of like. It's going to seem as if I'm moving the goalpost, but I'm really not. So, if the age of consent is 18, right? As a legal adult, that person, man or woman, can vote for the president of the United States. Why is it that we always, like older adults, refer to that 18-year-old as a child whenever that person is dating an older person?
Hold on, ask that question again.
Why is it that if the age of consent is 18 years old, why is it that older adults consider an 18-year-old a child whenever he or she wants to
Oh, I
date
see what you're
an
saying.
older person? So like if a 30-year-old is dating a 19-year-old, or you're dating a child. Like why is
Wait,
that
wait, oh, you're
why
so
is that
right.
the
Wait,
why is
did you
that
say
the
a 13-year-old dating
You're
a
so
19-year-old?
right.
no 30?
You're so right. It's like, why do you like impose on a situation and like ultimately deem this person as like a baby? You know what I'm saying? It could be one of those like overly like educated, sound young people that's not really youthful. They could
Yeah.
be like real mature or something. And
That yeah.
it's
But I
like why
wanted
do
to hear
they?
y'all's opinion about that because why is that stigma there
Yeah,
whenever
why do people do that?
18-year-old is legally an adult?
Well,
Legally an adult.
that's
Why is that?
so it's a different. Well, I don't know if it's different for men and women
It ain't-
growing up, but I was always told a woman is grown when she's 18, a man is grown when he's 21. But I feel like a man is grown once he's taken care of himself. And it's proven that he can take care of himself.
Okay.
I feel like a man should not have to wait until he's 21 to say, "Oh, now I can go out here and do what I want to do or do what I have to do
Right.
because I'm 21." But with a female, is oh, I'm 17, I'm about to be 18, I'm going outside. My curfew is at 3 o'clock in the morning. Can't nobody tell me what to do because I'm grown. Why is it different from man to woman?
Right.
Well, sometimes you gotta ask the women that because
That's my question though. Like
Yeah,
why is that the
that was
stigma?
his question. Like, why is
Yeah.
it like that?
yeah,
I
well,
think, can I say what I think?
yeah, go ahead, Mickey.
Yeah.
Okay. Men are perceived, or males are perceived to be the stronger of the two physically. Now there's some that are not. Some guys are not. They're not. But overall, and so their ability to keep themselves safe or handle themselves should someone try to take them is seen as they're the stronger. So that's why, it's thought that male, and they can, they go to war, they're soldiers, they're able to protect themselves better than women because women are perceived to be the physically weaker sex. That's where that attitude, I believe, from old school, that's where the attitude comes from. If you have children, if you have boys and girls, you see your sons as stronger. That's why you say, do not hit girls. Why are boys taught do not hit girls? It's the same concept as, boys can take care of themselves where girls can't. So I think it's that same mindset.
Well, here's my thing, right? So if you look at the emancipation laws, right? The lowest age a person can legally divorce their parents is 14 years old in California. So that means that they can show that they can go out there, make a living for themselves and support themselves. They're not legally an adult, but they're doing adult things at as young as 14 years old. So if that's so, I just wonder like why we're making a big deal over 18-year-old girl dating a 30-year-old man, but then we're not going to look over here and look at the 14-year-old leaving the house of their parents and becoming an adult at that age.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of these topics people, society emotionally attached to them because that's so true. Like, why are you okay with emancipation? Like, kids can emancipate themselves from their parents. Why don't nobody talk about that? Why does nobody say, "Oh, they're too young to do that"? Why do they allow that? Why don't nobody stand up for that? But yet you're so worried about her dating a grown man. When who knows, maybe they actually mesh. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like a lot of this stuff, society emotionally attached to it. Maybe from some type of trauma that they have attached to the topic, or how they feel, or how it arises something within them. I don't know, but it just doesn't. It's bias. Everything is bias.
Well, I have a situation that I'm very close to, very, very close to, where uh, a man 11 years older than this girl that I'm very, very close to, he is a predator. He has torn this girl down. He married her 1 week after they had their baby, got her pregnant. He has 3 kids from a prior marriage. He has mentally and emotionally torn this girl down, and the family has done everything in their power to get her away from him. He was in his 30s, okay? She was in her early 20s, and she didn't have the mental capacity to disarm him mentally. And it is bad now. There's 2 kids, and the DV has been terrible. And we cannot, they cannot get her away from him. And she's still stuck with him. She still can't break away from him in a safe manner. So that's what I've seen. So that's my experience going on right now. He was older men like that. Sometimes, not all the time, are predators. They're looking for a young girl who doesn't have any experience so they can take advantage of them, mentally break them down, and make them a doormat so they can stomp on them and step on them whenever they choose.
And I get that. I do understand that aspect of it. I'm just saying, like, it can't be the same for every single time an older man is dating a younger woman. Because a
No, I
lot of
get
times
that.
people will definitely like villainize a man for
Right.
dating a younger woman, even though they're not really a bad guy. They can be a good guy who just so happens to be attracted to a 19-year-old, you know.
So
And plus,
true.
Yeah,
So true.
that is the consent law. That's the law. The law is
yeah.
that if you're 18 and above, you're an adult. So why is
Right.
that a big
You can date a 30-year-old if you're 18.
right? So that's where that is my uh why I'm asking the question though. I was like, why is that the fifth? What do you think in terms of like why are men vilified? Because a lot of times people don't look at it the other way. If a woman's 30-year-old, 19-year-old, they don't look at the same thing. The perception is a lot different. If a
Do you
woman's
have a daughter? Do you have a daughter?
I have nieces.
Okay, would you be okay with them when they get to be 17, 16, 18, and a young older man comes sniffing around to a degree? Would you be okay with that?
It depends on the situation. It depends how
How
they
would you
met.
know how would you
It
get to
depends.
know him to be sure that he wasn't had ulterior motives?
Well, the thing is, like
That's
guys,
not age specific, man.
it's not. Yeah, guys
Not
know
always.
guys know guys.
No, I
That's
get that. I
why.
get that.
So I'll give you an example, right?
Right,
Let's say
there's
if it's
no way to eliminate the risk in any matter to that degree. God, you go. I mean, there's always going to be a risk factor. I mean, but you're sound enough to make just enough of decision in terms of what we're talking about here, like as it pertains to grape. But there's no way to eliminate the risk factor completely.
yeah, not to mention that, like, you know, if I have a daughter, I have kids, I'm gonna be teaching them about this stuff anyway. So I don't think like obviously I don't know because I'm not a father yet. I can't see the future, but like
Okay.
I would assume that whenever my daughter's 18 years old, she's gonna have a little bit of common sense to not necessarily like pursue an older man. But if she happens to pursue an older man, then I would have to like just like observe and just see for myself. And if I think that's not a good mix, I'll tell her that.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you like
Usually
this.
older
What
men
y'all?
will pursue a younger girl. They do the pursuing. The older party can be an older woman pursuing a younger guy.
You
You
got
have that in
echo.
teachers at high school. Teachers at high school. How many female teachers over the past few years have gone to jail for having smecks with their students that are 14 years old?
No, you're right, but I'm attacking. What I'm attacking is the perception of the question. Okay, the perception isn't the same for guys and girls. It's looked
Why?
different.
Why is that? Why is that?
I'm asking y'all. I'm asking you guys. So what do you guys think that is? Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's like this. More than none. Who to me, I'm a firm believer that who I date is my business. That's how I believe in it. Who you date is your business. Um,
I say that
do
about
you?
you.
I got a coworker. I mean, not a coworker. The guy, this couple, not couple, but brothers on YouTube. They've been married for 40 years. You know how old his wife was when he met her? Yes,
30, 40.
his wife. They've been married for 40 years.
Right. Well, she would be about 80 now.
No, I say how old she was when he met her.
Who was the older, him or her?
He was older. How old? Guess how
Oh,
old she was.
Yeah,
oh,
you
okay.
just gonna have to say it, man. We don't know at this point. Go ahead.
All right. Well, we're speaking about consent, so obviously she was younger.
Yeah.
But his wife was 13 years old.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
and they've
Karl
been.
Malone out here, fifth. It's like Karl Malone.
Oh, Carmelone's wife was like that.
No, Karl Malone was 20 when he got a 13-year-old pregnant.
Yeah. See, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not with it or against it, but that's their business because it's not wrong. Because it only becomes like I tell my guys at work. I'm a boss. I'm a manager at work. Like I tell my guys, it's not a problem until it's a problem. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a problem because it went well. The only thing that's wrong is that we're saying it's wrong, or whoever says it's wrong. I mean, to who though? I mean, she loves it. He loves it. They got 5 kids, and they've been married for 40 years
And
happily.
he can financially support her staying home to take care of the kids.
Absolutely. He's a YouTube star.
Okay.
So hold on, real quick. I want to get Fifth's answer, but I also want to get Dr. Love's answer. So I'm gonna reiterate the question, and then so that way, because Dr. Love wasn't here when I asked the question. So the question is, does the age of consent laws protect young people? And part of my asking this question is because there's a perception that older guys, if they go for younger women, that they're predators or they're weird, right? But when you look at emancipation laws, right, the youngest age you can be legally divorced from your parents is 14 years old in California. And no one looks at that as weird because that person can go out there and have their own bank account, make money, and live on their own in the eyes of the law and be fine. But then an 18-year-old who's actually legally an adult, according to the law itself, that women fought for, by the way, 1890s, 1900s, women fought to raise the age of consent from 10 years old to 18 years old. So that's been the law in most states for the past 100 years. So why is it that now in modern day society that it's weird now for a guy to pursue a younger girl? I'm not saying that, guys can't be predatory. I'm not saying that, but why is it that that is the perception for that? I want to hear
Um,
Fifth's perspective and also Dr. Love's perspective as
sorry,
well.
is Fifth going first?
Dr. Love could. Wait, hold on. So I'm sorry, Dr. Love. So Beyonda, you had a question for me that was what you were prior talking to before you got to the question for Dr. Love. So do you want me to answer your question first?
Yeah. Sorry, I want to answer that first. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you're gonna have to ask it again. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So why do you think that the perception isn't seen the same way if a woman is dating a younger guy?
Okay. So society, there's the law, the legalese of things, and then there's what society deems as appropriate or inappropriate, right? But also, there needs to be a level of fairness here. So, what you will often find is that when a woman is younger, she gets to a point where she's very age specific, right? Where she wants to date the older guy, right? No one bats an eye, right? She wants to date the older guy. She becomes 18. She wants to date the college guy. You know what I'm saying? Who's probably like about to graduate college. And by then, I guess your most college graduate age is the range is between 22 to 24, right, Beyonda?
Yes.
So she'll be 18 dating a 24-year-old, right? No one bats an eye there. But then there's going to be a point where she wants to go a little older. As she ages, so does the men that she may want. And for the reasons that she may want it. The thing is that I feel that women who have an issue with older guys getting younger women are typically because that woman is in the same competitive dating pool as that younger woman, and she missed out on the guy her age. So what happens is now here comes the shaming tactic. Oh, you got with her because you could control her because you ain't gonna control me. You can't control my mouth. You know what I'm saying? I do what I want. You know what I mean? Oh, you a weak man if you get with a younger woman. Now we're talking about an adult still, right? We're not talking about, but the shame will be, oh, you with a kid. So they'll call you a PDF file when by law you're not a PDF file, right? Now, this is not what I would prefer. You're just asking about why is it deemed differently when a woman does it versus an older man? Well, because when an older woman does it, and then I'll push the mic back to you, then you get Dr. Love. When a woman does it, there's a movie about it. It's called How Stella Got Her Groove Back. See, I never seen a movie called How Tyrone Got His Groove Back. They wouldn't make that movie.
No.
Go ahead, Beyonda.
I just want to reiterate, when I'm asking this question, I'm not talking about me. I have a fiance, she's 26, so I never have ever pursued anyone below the age of 25. But I've noticed this be the case for the past like 7 years, where it's all of a sudden a big deal now. And it confused me. And so whenever Fifth was like, hey, you want to be on the panel and like have your question? I wanted it to be about this. But yeah, Dr. Love, you can go ahead and respond whenever you want. I'd love to hear your perspective.
I think so. If I get this right, perspective is on older women dating younger men and younger men dating younger women. And if the age of consent is 18 in most countries, then why is it a problem? Am I right?
Yeah.
I think it's more of a personal thing because, yes, you know, they are classed as adults at 18 because I guess you have to give them an age and they can make their own consent and say yes or no. So I understand that. From a, I don't know if I want to say morals or values or preferences, but from a personal standpoint, if my 18-year-old was dating a 30-year-old or a 35-year-old, would I be okay with it? Absolutely not. I wouldn't like it. I would feel uncomfortable. And you may ask, well, the why? And it's their life and they should be able to make a choice. And whilst that's all correct, here's the bit that's the sticky bit. I know why men date younger women, right? As a mature woman, I understand why. And I may not be completely right, but I think I have a pretty good reason and understanding as to why. You know, younger flesh, tighter hole, unexperienced, moldable, fresh. Well, it's all true, isn't it? And, you know, completely impressionable. So can be manipulated very, very easy. These people, I don't want to say refer them as children because, you know I have an 18-year-old my own, and they think they're fully grown and can fully make their own decisions. And yes, they have some life experience, but not enough. And when they're dating someone who's way older, who has been on this earth for 30 or 35 years more, has played the market, has played the women, has been with different various, the 18-year-olds may not be in that same position. And you get different kinds of 18-year-olds, right? You get ones that left the house maybe at 14 and have been wandering the streets for the last 4 years and grown up really quickly. Majority or some will be 18-year-olds who maybe live at home, getting out, about to start their life in college, universities, and so forth, they are way too young. So dating someone within their own age group is far better because they get to experience in a similar level to the person that they're dating. And this is for men or women, you know. And I understand the psychological needs as well, where, you know, younger men may want to be with older women. And don't get me wrong, I don't agree with older women being with younger men either, because I feel that's very manipulative too. It's wrong. From my perspective. Others may not see it that way. I do. So for that reason, I don't think it's okay. I don't think it's okay at all. And when I hear it, when I see it, it makes my stomach turn,
Right.
literally.
Let me ask you this. You said so you're Pakistani, right, Dr. Love?
Correct.
So
Correct.
how does your culture view it? And then I want to get your answer, like in general, like how do cultural differences influence this age of consent thing that we're talking
Well,
about?
you know, back in the day, I think, you know, the age limit was less. And yes, it absolutely used to happen where they'd get married to older men, you know, men who could financially support the child. Now I'm going way, way back. This is not the situation, you know, now. It doesn't happen at all
Yeah,
because
it
that
is.
exists stopped.
My mom was 15 when my dad
Yeah,
married her.
back in the day, I think it was very common. Now it is not. Just because something was allowed doesn't make it right. So the basis I gave my opinion on is what I think is right and wrong. And I think I've given valid reasons according to myself as to why I think it's wrong. But back in the day, there were all sorts of things were condemned as okay. It still doesn't make it right. So culturally, yes, in my culture, they would do that. Now it's slightly different. Now there are 18, 19-year-olds getting married with 19, 20-year-olds, maybe 1 or 2 years difference, where the man that they're marrying has at least got a job, you know, and can support his family to some degree, not 10, 15 years older. That no longer happens.
Can I cut in real quick?
Yeah,
Beyond the question shouldn't have, well, not shouldn't have. I don't want to tell you what your question should have been, but I would have had a
sure.
part two question
Yeah,
because I wasn't thinking of going the cultural route. I try to stay very clear of that.
sure.
The question would have been to Dr. Love is does she have any inkling of what's going on in the country Pakistan? Because
Yeah,
Dr. Love lives
the UK.
in England.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Yep.
she's Pakistani, yes, but she doesn't live in Pakistan. So in Pakistan, and maybe this requires some research. How was it viewed in Pakistan?
Yeah, no, I was asking because I was asking her because she is Pakistani. I didn't know if she knew how they view it over there. I know that she doesn't live there. I know
Well,
how they view it.
I think in Pakistan, I think Fifth's made a fair point. I think in Pakistan, the country, it's very different, but we have a large majority of people who are also in the UK that are Pakistani. So and the rules for Pakistanis born in the UK and in the UK are different to the ones who actually live in Pakistan for various reasons due to you know, upbringing, due to finances and so forth. So in the UK, I certainly have an opinion of the Pakistanis within the UK, and this is the rule here. This is why I said now there's none of that. There is only a couple of years difference, if that, enough for the man to be working, you know. So we try to hold on to a lot of our cultural values, although it's very difficult to do in a country which is different to the country that you're raised and born in. So in the UK, yes. In Pakistan per se, in the villages, I believe some would still be doing some of that stuff. I don't know. But I'd have a good guess and say possibly. But my point is, it doesn't make it okay.
Man and money. Do you have anything you want to say about that?
I mean, pretty much unpacked that topic. I don't want to talk too much on the youth, but I mean, pretty much unpacked it, you know. Like, yeah. But I think when Mark said if my daughter dated an 18-year-old man, it would bother me. So let's be clear. Now, I do think it's wrong for like grown men to like, or grown women to, or to like, what's the word? Like coerce their way into a young person's life from from an adult IQ level. I do think that that's wrong. Now, I'm not, what's the word? I'm not advocating for that at all. And I'm sure there are professional ways to determine like that's occurring. But and as long as that's not occurring, I don't see an issue with it.
But man of, I don't know what your part is. You see, we say as long as it's not coerced or manipulated, right? This is a really interesting concept because, in my opinion, what is an 18-year-old going to see in a 35-year-old man?
Well,
The things,
have you seen some 18-year-olds lately?
you
They
know,
look like 30-year-olds.
I understand they look older than they are. That still doesn't mean mentally they are. They physically
No,
may look. I know kids are growing up way quicker because of half the crap they put in the food and so forth. They are genetically growing and becoming more womanly. They
so
also dress.
you may not see anything in him. Only thing I'm saying is, as long as you're not being persuaded or manipulated to be with him, I'm cool with it.
But there
Um,
will be a level of manipulation because if you think,
no,
well, if
that's
you
not
think
true.
about it,
That's not true.
18-year-old, well,
He's a man.
okay,
He's a man.
let,
She's
let,
attracted to
let,
him.
let me give you a scenario. So you've got an 18-year-old girl going out and you've got a 35-year-old man who knows the game, who knows how to sweet talk, who knows how to woo a woman. And now he's giving this 18-year-old lady or girl who's got barely any experience, probably doesn't even know what red flags look like or what gaslighting is, half the stuff. And now he is doing the charm. For her, she's going to think, oh my gosh, all I want is to feel protected and feel safe and to feel loved, right? Because that's what women want. That's what she's going to be
You're
looking for.
talking in
But he will
circles.
have the ingredients to do that.
You're talking in circles. And
I don't think I am. I think I'm
what
making
you're,
a point.
yeah, I got you though. But what you're saying is exactly what happens. Yeah, he
So
probably
it's
is
not
gonna.
going,
Hold
so it
up,
is a
listen,
game of
listen, listen,
manipulation.
listen. Because obviously you despise it for some reason, but I'm not disputing it. But what you're describing is what exactly happens.
Correct.
He woos her, but the truth is his woo is truthful. I'm saying he's not lying about it. His woo is honest. There's nothing wrong with having an honest woo.
The woo is towards an 18-year-old.
It
That's what I
doesn't
would deem to
matter.
be not.
Yeah,
It's
Well,
but
it
it,
does
okay.
matter
as
because we're
long
coming
so
from two different perspectives.
so
You're
look.
saying it
I
doesn't
just said
matter.
so.
I'm
Obviously,
saying it's
okay.
wrong.
Obviously, you despise it, and I kudos. What I'm saying is, as long as he's not manipulating her, because if I woo you and my woo is honest, it doesn't matter how old you are. I'm not manipulating you. Manipulating is when I'm telling you a lie to get something of good or to get something in my favor. If I'm
Hmm.
telling you something and I mean it, that's not
Hmm.
manipulation. It doesn't matter how old you are. So
Well, I'm going to agree to disagree because I think even a woo to an 18-year-old, what is she going to give you other than the things that I
But
mentioned, which
I
wouldn't
guess
be
my
very
question is,
dissimilar?
where do you draw the line then? Because if it is the law that this 18-year-old is an adult, man or woman, but so either the 18-year-old is a child or not a child.
So beyond my view changes. If the woman is, say, in her 30s, early 30s, and she meets a man twice her age, fair play. She's experienced life a little bit. She's learned the ropes. She's had a bit more understanding than what I'm saying. I work with 18-year-olds. I know where their minds are at. They're not developed as much as
I
they
don't have
think
to
they're
work
women.
with 18-year-olds. I was 18 before.
Yeah,
So
so
I
was I,
don't and
sir. And I
so
know how easily you can get
yeah, so I don't have to
manipulated. I'm
work
not
with it.
talking from a personal experience right now. I'm saying when you work with 18-year-olds and you work with men and women who are 18, you understand their psyche. And what I'm saying is if a woman's in her early 30s and she chooses to go out with a man in his 50s, fair play. She's lived, she's experienced. I don't get the ick on that. But when there's an 18-year-old and there's a man who's 35, that, yes, because that woman is
Yeah,
not, that girl
and
is
this
not
kid,
equipped.
yeah, you're despising it because you keep saying woman. What about a boy that's 18?
Same ways,
You already
same
said the same
ways.
thing. She said the same
Same
way.
ways.
Yeah, she's
If
just
there's a
speaking. Yeah.
woman, if there's a young man who's 18 and he's got a 35-year-old woman who's trying to manipulate and trying to, same feeling, it is not okay.
So in
Absolutely
your
not. No.
eyes, an 18-year-old is not an adult then.
In my eyes, no.
So
Not
then,
psychologically,
okay,
not
cool.
experience
So
wise.
No, they're an adult at
we're
19
there.
then. What the
So
fuck?
if an 18 if an 18-year-old is not an adult, then if you could change the age of consent, what would it be then? Because mind you, I provided context to when in the 1800s in America, age of consent was 7 to 10 years old. Women back then fought to make it 18 years old because women back then were a little different. But now you're saying that an 18-year-old doesn't have the same experience to be dating a 35-year-old.
You know what it is, Beyonda? It's not, see, when you first said the 710, right? And then it went to 18. 18 is much better than 710, right? Now we can keep pushing
Oh,
the
yes, of
age of
course.
consent. We can keep pushing it. What I'm saying is, there has to be some morality, in my opinion, where people can see that an
That's not
18-year-old,
immoral to me. That's not
well, I don't know
immoral.
what the right word is, whether it's a
Yeah,
value,
that's
whether
not
it's a
immoral.
morality,
That's
whether it's
not immoral.
humanity, whether it's
That's not
decency,
humanited. That's not
whether
dishumane.
it's, well,
That's not
whatever it is.
that's not inhumane.
Okay, the point I'm making is, if 35-year-old women and 35-year-old men stop lusting and going for people who are just young, those 18-year-olds should be dating within their own age group. That's all I'm saying. Once they've had experience, they've got to understand the world, they've got to understand their own needs and what
So
they need and want.
is 19
Then
cool? What about 19?
the problem isn't the
19
age,
is
it's
bad
the
too.
age group they date. It's
19
the
is bad
age
too,
group
huh?
they date. For me, like I said, late 30s or early 30s, sorry, they can date who the hell they want. 40 years older, 50, I couldn't care because you've experienced, you've lived, you
So all right,
understand
here,
life a bit.
hold on. Let's see. Here, this is where humanity is unjust, and this is how selfish people are.
So I just
What?
think it's
No, let me ask you a
creepy.
question. Let me ask you
I
a
think it's
question.
creepy
All
and
right,
I
let me
think
ask you a
it's
question.
predatory.
See, now you're just yelling.
That's the truth.
Now
I'm
you're
not
just
going to keep
yelling.
debating it with you. I think I've said my
All
bit and
right,
I'm
so
going to step
mute
now.
her then, bro. Mute her.
Hey, hold on. Minute. You fall easy.
So yeah,
You got to let somebody finish and then you
she
could
was
go.
talking. She was
No,
finished, bro.
no. She was trying to get it out and you cut in. And then now
All
you're
right,
cutting into each other because you're trying to get your words out. You go
all
ahead
right.
and go. Go ahead.
Yeah, she was done, and I was like, all right, well, let me ask you a question. Then she just started blurting out. I mean, at the end of the day, this is not personal. We just went from one topic to another. So,
This topic is beyond that. I think you knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
So
I
this
mean,
is
I'm not bothered.
one second.
I have a daughter.
This is a very sensitive topic, right? And you know, it's TikTok, so I know it's a whole different game. Usually, this conversation is better on a more private panel, but we could have the conversation. All right, let's just take turns. Now go
All
ahead.
right, cool. So, like I was gonna say, this is how selfish humans can be, because if the true care for humanity, or if this person's being manipulated because of they're somehow not 18-year-old competent enough, even though the law deems them as such, what about the 25-year-old who's not um intellectually sound, that gets manipulated by a 21-year-old? Oh, is there any care for that person? No, there's not. So there are 18-year-olds, and it's science. It's not opinion. It's true biological fact. There are 18-year-old that can demonstrate competency, that's adultly sound. So for somebody to come in and go against biology and say that no, that's still not wrong, you're just being selfish and egotistical. Because what about the 25-year-old that's not sound? You'll be cool with that person dating though, and they keep getting their heart broke, and they don't know why. What, that person's not a human because they're 25? You know what I mean? That person's not in need of care. They're not worthy of care because they're 25. They
Well,
got a mother too. They got a dad too.
well, I think, and Dr. Love, correct me if I'm wrong. I think Dr. Love's whole point, and I kind of understand it, is it's not really about the age; it's about the mental capacity to
Yeah, that's why I just
the
clearly threw the
mental
part in.
the mental like
Yeah,
the
that's why I
brain is
threw
not
that.
fully at 25. So
Yeah, that's
at
what I
18 years
threw.
old, you're not going to have a lot of life experience. That's why, like, if a 35-year-old man is intentionally going for 18-year-old
Yeah,
woman,
that's why I clearly I'm in college right now, and I'm a registered RBT. That's why I'm very distinctive when I speak. That's why I clearly said when manipulation is not involved, and I even went further and I said if there's a way to confirm that it's not, then I'm cool with it. You heard me say that, right, Fifth? I said if manipulation is not involved, and to make it even more
Yeah, you
understandable, I
said that
said,
earlier.
yeah, that's what I'm
yeah.
saying. I said if manipulation is not involved, and I went even further because I have a daughter. And manipulation is not involved, and there's a way to confirm that it's not involved, then I'm cool. It's not my job to concern myself with what another person wants to do as an 18-year-old. And if I know that they are biologically sound. They are biologically sound, which means that they are of the age that makes them sound enough to make the decision that they are making. Bro, who am I to get in their way and say no, you're too young? What are you talking about? Life experience. 25-year-olds that never left their city. So like what life experiences are you talking about?
Can I
Like
say something? Can I
Yeah,
add something?
yes, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so you got an older guy, he wants to date a 18-year-old. You have an 18-year-old guy and there's a 30-year-old woman wants to date him, pursue them. Depending on that 18-year-old's relationship with her family, would it behoove the 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, upper 20-year-olds to respect the family? Let them get to know him, let them ask him questions. And if they're not good with their daughter or son dating this older person, that level of respect should be respected.
absolutely.
And if the family, if the father, if she's got mother and father at home, and that should be a concern also. That should figure into the equation. Okay. And that would show whether that 30 or older person has ulterior motives or if they are a respectful person. Because I get it. There's 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds that are pretty much raising themselves. They're being the mom in the house, taking care of the younger siblings because their home life is not good. And they see the immaturity of people their own age. And so, yeah, they would
Exactly.
possibly seek
'Cause
out someone who's older,
immaturity is completely subjective.
but it has to be a healthy older person.
Yeah, of course. Ain't nobody
So,
saying just frivolously you go date young people. Ain't nobody saying that. I'm saying if it's a sound situation, you've got some approval from some adults involved, and they can see it as being cool, then so be it. Like, I mean, and we're not raising couch cats over here. Like,
no, you
we're
shouldn't
raising,
be.
yeah, we're raising people to go out into the world and be great. We're not
Wings to
raising couch
fly.
kittens. We're
Yeah,
not raising couch kittens.
You
kids
know
with
Yeah,
what?
wings to
I
fly.
think it is interesting, but I think, I'm going to stick with my statement. An 18-year-old, as much as
yeah.
they think they've grown up, as much as they think they know the world, because at that age, let's be honest, they
I'm
think
not
they
a
know
no
it all,
judge. I'm not no
right? They
judger. I
they
don't
they
judge
get
Wait,
people.
hold on.
well,
Let her
here's
talk, bro. Let her talk. Let her
sir,
talk.
you keep interrupting. I know
Yeah, let her talk.
you
Hold on.
you want to kind of say your bit. I've heard you. How far does a parent go? I will protect my child till the day I die. I don't care how old they are. And maybe that's wrong. Maybe that's looked on upon as bad. But when you know what the world is like and what we're dealing with, not everyone is the same. So the verification is very important. But will I be held if I have my 18-year-old comes home with a 35-year-old dude? Nah.
So let me ask you this, Dr. Love, I think this is a fair question, right? Because I get your point. A lot of me agrees with you, right? At what age legally do you think people should be held accountable? Because usually, a lot of times when someone commits a crime, let's say a 14-year-old does like unaliving, right? They're not tried until they're 18, because at 18 is when they're seen as an adult in the eyes of the law, and then they go to jail according to what they did as an adult. So, at what age do you think personally that
I
someone should be
can't
held
answer
accountable?
that, Beyonder, because you
No?
know what, Beyonder? No, I can't. I'm going to be honest with you, because you know what? I think it depends on each individual. They're all different, and their developmental will be different. And I know legally they have to give you a standard age, 21 to drink, 18 to consent, and so forth. I get it, because there has to be some law in place. It doesn't mean everyone is going to be at the level at what they have put down. That's just a fact. And, the
Right.
statistics will support that. Every 18-year-old is not the same. Like the young lady was just saying, if a girl's grown up looking after a family, her parents and what, she's going to be way more mature than the 18-year-old who's had everything handed on a plate to her. They're not going to compare mentally, because one has had responsibility from a young age and the other one has been given everything to her. They're going to be at two different stages. So I think you have to look at each individual on individual case. For me, an 18-year-old should be dating someone closer to her own age when they are looking, or when they think an older person, because something else the young lady said, she's had a hard life. Then someone comes in 35, I can do this for you and I'm going to do this for you. And she's thinking, wow, I'm all grown up and this sounds like a perfect, until she gets in a relationship and 20 years in, she's leaving him because now he's old and he's, boring and he's got into his own ways. And now she'll go off with someone younger. It's a pattern. I think young people should date within their own ages until they are at an age, like I said, early 30s, where they've had some experience. Then
Early
do what you want to
30s.
do.
What?
Well,
Yeah,
I think
that's my opinion, sir.
yeah, I think the issue is that the law itself.
I'm not into frivolity though.
Oh no, I think the law itself it lumps everyone into one category a lot of times. So if the age of consent is 18, well, not every 18-year-old is going to be mentally sound to make certain adult decisions. Is that what you're trying to say, Dr. Love?
Yeah, exactly. I'm saying everyone's experience is going to be different based
But
on.
how do you like, if there was a fix to that, how would you fix that? Because you can't necessarily then you gotta pick and choose what 18-year-olds are held accountable for one thing, but then if the 18-year-old is emotionally mature, that person can deal with more than another 18-year-old, So how would you?
They can do, but the thing is, you see, with age comes wisdom, comes experiences, right? You don't learn all those things at a younger age. With age comes experience. At 18, you might start traveling the world. We did a study on 18-year-olds that took a gap year before they started university. The ones that took the gap year and traveled and did whatever they had to and then went into university performed way better. They had a much better grasp of life, finances, how to look after themselves and be able to apply themselves, as opposed to the ones who went straight into from one system to another. So what is the difference there?
Or beyond her.
Experience. Sorry, sir.
When
Would
she's
you not
done.
like me to finish?
Yeah,
I said when she's done.
Let her finish. No, she's not done yet.
That's it. When she's done.
Okay. Go ahead, Dr. Love. You're fine.
Okay, so those people had experience on their side and they had, a different set of maturity and wisdom. So it's really hard to deter between, well, which one has. But I believe that with more experiences, with the age, they will grow and they'll understand, which is why I said date within your own, because you're going to get heartbroken. You're going to fall for the wrong person. You're going to start picking it up. But when there's a massive age difference, it is. I can't deal with this guy. I'm sorry. Thank you, Fifth. Thank you for the space. I'm going to leave now. Thank you.
No, I was in the background. I was in the background talking. but I mean, everybody else has left the room clearly for a reason. But beyond it, like you was just saying, man, I'm not into frivolity and contradiction. That's frivolous. Because how can you say that if a person is 18 years old and they're mature, then okay, they have different experiences. Bro, an adult doesn't have to write small text for you. If I say that an 18-year-old is cool to date a 35-year-old, you should already know that I'm talking about an 18-year-old mature one. Because adults don't have to write small text. We can shoot the duck. We can shoot the duck and miss the dove. We don't have to tell you that I'm not aiming for the dove. I'm aiming for the duck. I don't have to tell you that because we're adults. So that's the difference. But for you to sit here and say, oh, if they're an 18-year-old that raised their own family, then of course they're going to be a little more mature. Obviously, that's the ones that I'm talking about. As an adult, I don't have to depict that for you. But for you to just talk in circles just to hear yourself because you got a London accent, like, I mean, come on, bro. Obviously, I'm talking about an 18-year-old that's equipped to deal with the 35. Why would I okay a 18-year-old that's passive, that's not assertive, that's not social? Why would I okay them to date an 18 or 35-year-old?
That's her point, though. A lot of 18-year-olds are not equipped.
Well, yeah, of course. A lot of them are, though.
That was her.
A lot of them
entire
are,
point.
though.
Her entire point. Well, it depends, you know. And like a lot of people, like 18-year-olds, just don't have the 18-year-olds naturally just don't have they don't have the it factor to be like an adult. They just don't.
Yeah, I feel you, bro. You know what I mean?
That was her whole point.
We can
At
go
18
on and
years
on
old,
about this, but my niece graduated high school at 11th grade. She's in a master's program right now at 20. So I mean, that's the world we in. My buddies, we like brothers. His son graduated high school and then graduated college 2 weeks later. Come on, bro. This 2026. He had dual placement. He was in high school and college at the same time. So come on, bro. Like, I'm not limiting humanity. Humans are great. And I'm not about to sit here and be like, you're 18, you can do whatever you want. I've been told that since I was 5 years old. And I'm not going to change my ideologies with the children behind me. Because as long as you limit them, that's exactly what you're going to do. They're going to be limited as long as you limit them.
I can offer something.
yeah, go ahead.
There's a couple here in the area that I live, and now there is a rule of consent here in the state of Louisiana, but there are exceptions, and you follow through on the legal route. The parents sign. There was this girl. She was 15, and I'm not sure how old the guy was, but anyway, her parents signed for her to get married to him. They were married for years, okay? She just passed away she got sick or something, but they were together for years. So, I mean, it's not always across the board, about age and maturity, but there has to be guidelines and there has to be boundaries with gates, okay? It's okay to walk through this gate because this person, and this person is shown to be of sound mind and can make their own decisions even at an early age. I personally have a daughter, and her dad was 15 years older than me, okay? We met when I was like 19. I worked at a hospital and he worked in a different department. He was just a lot of fun. He didn't seem to be that age. He didn't seem to be that much older. He was in his 30s. I was, I could say 19 or 19, 20. Anyway, he was a lot of fun. We just enjoyed each other and just got to know each other. And, I have a daughter. He passed away when she was 11. He had cancer. But anyway, he had a different liveliness about him that was just, you were drawn in by him because he was just, and we stayed friends even after we didn't stay together, but we stayed friends. And So there's always exceptions. There's always ways for things to happen in the event. Man of many, like you say, if they're, can make their own decisions, they can take care of themselves. There's nothing wrong. Sometimes age doesn't define maturity level. But, as a general rule, yes, the family needs to vet this person, that their precious daughter, who is priceless, that they would put their lives on the line for, to just turn them over to someone they don't know because, oh, it should be okay, that's not good. And I understand that.
Let me shift the question, right? So when we're talking, should online relationships involving minors be regulated differently than in
Absolutely.
person?
Now we're talking. Online,
Yeah.
now we're talking. There's a whole, so when you're online, and this is what I tell my nieces and nephews. Go ahead, bro.
Hold on
I
one
know you about to-
second. Hold on one
Yep,
second.
I knew you was coming.
We got to be very careful. Beyond, I need you to be a little more detailed in what you mean, because when you say the word minor, that algorithm hits. So what are you trying to say?
Okay, so let's say there's a six. I'll give you age range, right? 15 minimum, right? 15-year-olds online. They're they're discovering, the online world, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, right? When we're talking about the online aspect of it, should online relationships involving those people who are within like the age of 14 through 17 or whatever be regulated differently than in person?
Okay. So before you do that, before we answer that, I need you to do me one big solid. I need you to read the Romeo and Juliet laws.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm asking that is because this is how we're going to have a base for that answer. Okay? Because that when you start mentioning that age and you start mentioning that, we got to stick within some parameters very closely. Okay?
You went low when you went to that part.
Yeah. We got to be very careful here. Very careful with TikTok and talking about this. So we need to talk about the Romeo and Juliet laws, because if we stay within the Romeo and Juliet law, then this conversation is going to make more sense. Once we go outside of that, we need to not ever talk about that age no more.
Exactly. We was on 18.
Yeah, we was on 18. Yeah.
You jumped like 3 ages back.
We'll stay with the Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, keep it at 18, bro.
Yeah. So, should online relationships involving young people, right, which is the basis of this whole conversation, should that be regulated differently than in person?
I don't even think it's young people. I think people dating online need to be censored. I think online it has no censorship, and that's where because in the beginning there was censorship online. I don't think you guys remember. Like half of the stuff that we can access now freely, you couldn't access online at one point. Like
Yeah,
you
but
had,
you will get in a whole lot of trouble if you access the wrong sites.
no, you will not. You can go on Instagram right now and see whatever you want to see.
Even on the
Instagram.
dark web, if you go to the dark
No,
web,
I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about like seeing
well, they were
classified.
saying
Hold
online,
on, hold on. You can't cut me off, love. Hold
No,
on.
I'm not. That's where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I was still talking though. Hold on.
Sorry.
So you can't. I'm talking about in the rounds of what he's talking about, dating. I'm not talking about seeing like classified news and nothing like that. I'm talking about dating. Like you can do things online now that needs to be censored that you couldn't do at one point. That's all I'm saying. Now I'm not talking about
Yeah, I
dark
agree.
web and all that.
I agree. Yeah.
Man of many, I think you're speaking of specifically Twitter.
Nah, Instagram been shocking me lately.
Yeah, but Instagram ain't got nothing on Twitter, if you know what I mean.
Well, Twitter's like triple X, like
Right,
for real,
right.
and Snapchat.
And you don't even need a Twitter account to access Twitter.
That's like my cousin gave me the game plan about Twitter. You could type in a chick Instagram name on Twitter, and it'll blow your mind sometimes what's on her page.
Facts.
Is Twitter X now? Is
Let me
Yeah,
Twitter
ask.
Twitter's
X?
X.
Okay, then that's clarified.
Let me ask you this, Fifth. How should society define adulthood?
Society already defines adulthood. But society wavers. Understand that society is about those who live in it, the age, the time. So as we have more elderly die off, then the views and opinions and systems and norms and social norms will change with the next generation that takes it up. We're seeing that now. Our grandparents, I'm 39. My grandparents been dead. I say that respectfully, not disrespectfully. My grandparents been gone. So them 90s and 80s, they getting up out of here. Right? So now it's up to the ones who were, when those people were 80 and 90s, is the 50-year-olds. The 50-year-olds who were 50 when the people were 80 and 90, they're the elders now. Mm-hmm. They're the elders. Right? I'm in my unk status. That's what I was told because I'm about to be
Big
40.
bro.
Right,
Big
because
bro.
I'm about to be 40, so I'm in my unk status. So right now, the elders in my family can rest. Right? They don't have to do the heavy lifting anymore. They did the heavy lifting already. They've been doing the heavy lifting for over 30 plus years.
I needed to hear that, bro. I got chills. I needed to hear that.
Yeah. So it's up to me.
Us.
It's up to us. It's up to the 30s and 40s
I need to hear that, bro.
take on some of the things that our elders who are in their 50s and 60s, they're in their 60s now, right? Because like I said, my grandparents are gone. They're gone, right? So now we have our elders in our 50s and 60s. The 60s have a lot of life behind them than they do ahead of them. So whatever they got passed down from them as far as society goes, they have that. They taught that to us. The thing is now they want to know how we're going to do when we get to that time, because I'm going to tell you something right now. You will get to an age of your life where no one wants to listen to you anymore. Right. You no longer have their ear. So I believe society already has been defined. So what happens is you have the law, you have a lot of politics that are put in place that will also shape how we view society, the laws, and how we view society, how we view culture, because we set a precedent for the culture. And I don't mean culture like, you from this country, that country. I mean like culture, meaning there are principles and parameters that a community has set at that time for that specific area. That's a culture. Your culture is also where you're from too.
Within the country.
Within the country, in terms of like your neighborhood, your family culture. There's immediate family culture. There's extended family culture. There's neighborhood culture before we even get to what country you from. You know what I'm saying? So I believe it's already defined it now as far as adulthood. Okay. Yes. Because the reason why I say that is because we have a various opinions up here outside of what's allowed legally. That comes from influence and society and cultural norms. That's where those opinions come from. So you tell me it's legal to be 17 to do it, and then somebody outside of that says, well, I think that's wrong. Well, that's not the law. Well, I don't care what the law is. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep. But the laws are there for a reason.
Absolutely.
If the laws are not there, everyone can make up their own laws.
Anarchy. You're right.
Exactly. So my other question is this to the whole panel, right? and this is I have an example of this after access. So, can age of consent laws unintentionally criminalize healthy teenage relationships? Because there was an example of a guy who went to jail. He was 18. His girlfriend, I think, was 16, turning 17, I believe. And the parents and the
Hey, you
families
can't
knew
go
each other
there.
and
He already
whatnot.
told you
Hold
can't
on.
go there, bro.
Yeah,
The age.
Let him finish. Good.
yeah. So the 18-year-old boy was dating the 16-year-old girl, and she was turning 17, I think, the following year or whatever. But the parents already knew about that. Everyone was all in agreement. And then someone reported that, and they arrested the 18-year-old and put him in jail, even though the parents were like cool with it and they knew him and knew the family. So, ask again, do you think that age of consent laws unintentionally criminalize healthy relationships in the teenage aspect?
Yes.
I don't think. I mean, I don't think the law is actually in any favors, no matter what law it is. So I'm not even going like narrow it down to that law because I don't think any law is for anyone's favor. So I don't believe in law. I believe in boundaries. I don't believe in law because it's not a law until you get caught. So the only law that mattered to me that I live by is the law that mattered that I set for myself.
Wait, what?
Only law, only law that matters to me are the laws that I set for myself.
Wait, hold on, man. Hold on.
Yeah.
We have to talk about that. We have
I'm
to
not talking
unpack
about
that.
the dating stuff. I'm
No,
talking
no, no, no.
about
I know what you're talking about. I have to unpack that
yeah.
though. So if I'm selling white, yeah,
Be careful.
and I'm
Be
doing it
careful.
and I haven't been caught, that means that's okay?
Absolutely.
That's crazy. That's crazy, bro.
No, hear me out. Hear me out.
You're built different,
No,
bro. I'm
all
sorry.
right, hear me out. Hear me out.
That's crazy, man.
So now we're
You're
not going to
wild.
talk here.
Because you know for a fact that's wrong.
So can I
But you
talk
do it
though,
anyway.
or are you just gonna run the bias conversation now?
Nah, he gonna let you
Well, I'm the
talk.
moderator, my guy.
He gonna let you talk, man and many. Come on.
So
go
you're a
ahead.
moderator, so just be biased then. Go ahead.
No, he's gonna let you talk. He was just trying to.
Oh, because
he was
said
just
I'm
saying.
a moderator.
He was saying no. He is a mod. He is, but he was
I mean, he
saying
could be a mod, but not to be biased.
no. He was saying you're built different. But yeah, go ahead.
So, I'm gonna give you this fact right here that maybe you didn't know, but there are more criminals free than imprisoned. So let that sink in. as many criminals that are in prison, there are more criminals free. Let that sink in.
That's true. I agree with that.
So I'll just
You just hadn't got caught yet.
let that sink in and marinate. I mean, let that marinate. Cause my dad was the biggest criminal there is. Never been to jail. So let that marinate. They call them city slickers, bro. These are people that live a life of crime that never get caught.
They call them something else in New Orleans.
Like, have you seen takers, bro? Like, I don't understand why you just said that. I don't think you thought before you said that. Have you seen takers?
I definitely did. Don't
All right, bro. It's not personal, bro. Just relax. Like, keep it on topic. It's not personal.
No, I know it's not, but
have you seen Den of Thieves? Have you
Yeah.
seen takers? There are people that live these type of lives, bro, and they never get caught. They live a regular life of committing crime, and they have jobs. Well, they don't have jobs, but the money that they acquire from crime, they open businesses, and then like they're like the man or the woman, like they're like that guy or that girl, and it's all from crime, and they never go to jail. Like, have you seen Den of Thieves? One
Yes.
and two. One and two.
Yeah, but
Yes.
we don't even have to even talk about a movie.
But
I mean,
is it- but is
there's
it-
a lot of
I'm just
reality
saying,
going
people-
on there.
but is
Well,
it
yeah,
right?
people live
is it
like
right?
that.
Is it right though?
I mean, that's what I just said. It's not right, of course. I mean, but what's right? Exactly. See what I'm saying? What's right to you? Now, there are things that if it's not right to me and you do it, then yeah, it's not right. Because I have a set of laws that I've already have predicated for me that I live by. that were implanted in me, like Fifth was saying. There are cultural moralities, there are cultural distinguishes that everybody have within themselves that they live by and they walk by, and then this is what they will be remembered by. This is what you know them as. Now, those are the things that matter to us one another. These are the things that you are willing to stand for. These are the things that you are willing to put it all on the line for. Now, no matter what you're doing, if what you're doing is not wrong, to me, and it doesn't go against one of those core values that I already have in place, if it doesn't go against that, hey, bro, do your thing.
But do you think that morality is subjective or objective?
Morality, no, morality is objective.
Right. So that means that the laws that we got it from the foundation of Christianity, meaning we got the laws from someone higher than ourselves. So
So
if there's objective morality, that means that
who
we already
told
know
you? Who
what
told you that? Who told you that the laws were created from Christianity?
the U.S. Constitution, the founding fathers.
So I'm gonna let you finish. Go ahead.
Right. So we already know what's right and what's wrong. So if we do a crime, we know that what we're doing is wrong, but we didn't get caught. That doesn't mean that we're less wrong or less, you know what I mean? Like we're not less wrong because we didn't get caught. You know?
I'm gonna finish when you're done, bro.
I'm done. Go ahead.
All right. So the government, like you just mentioned, be careful when you speak on Christianity, and you got to be factual when you speak on that thing right there, buddy. Um, so for one, the government is made up of three branches. So when you say that the laws and stuff are derived from spiritual concept, that's not true. In the beginning, yes, there was a very intense spiritual reverence in governing the United States. That has long gone. They even took the Bible out of the courtroom. So you gotta stay on point and stay up to date with your information, because information is forever evolving. You know what I'm saying? So America is not the whole "in God we trust" no more. It was. It was. That's how it started. That's how
That's
the
why I said,
grace. That's how the grace that was bestowed upon America, they got it to where it is now, because of that belief system in the beginning. But that has long gone. That's why that grace is now starting to wither, and that's why you can see the fire now from the enemy, because that grace is not as plentiful as it once was. They took the Bible out of the courtroom, bro. The Bible is no longer in the courtroom.
yeah, no, I was speaking more towards the objective morality part. I was
Well, I'm
talking
talking
about
about when you said Christianity made the laws.
that's the foundation of the early law in the 17th century. Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't uphold that anymore. Is what I'm saying. Laws change
That
every
wasn't
day.
my point. But my point was that we received what morality is from a higher power back then.
Yeah,
So human beings already know naturally what's right and what's wrong. That's what my whole point was.
yeah. So all right. So when you said like you're selling white, is it somebody that's selling white bad? Obviously, that's wrong, bro. Of course. Now, but am I gonna say, hey, bro, you're wrong for doing that? I mean, because I walk past bad every day, and I'm sure you do too. You know what I mean? That's the world we live in. If you're expecting a utopia on Earth, just go to sleep. You'll have a dream of one, because it will never happen. Like we will never up. Nah, I'm not being funny. Like Yaki Awakening said that. You know who Yaki Awakening is?
No.
Nipsey Hussle said it too. You're never gonna get a utopia on Earth. Utopia means perfection. We're never gonna get that. So and you shouldn't expect it. So you should expect it to be exactly what it is. That's what will keep you sharp. So like if somebody's doing bad, I'm not gonna judge them because I don't know the reason why they're doing it. You know what I'm saying? All I know is that the laws, and I from trial and error and from living and wisdom shows me that the laws at place they're not truthfully for my well-being. So that's when I got to the point where I said laws. There are no laws because they're not truthfully for your well-being.
So is it anarchy then?
No, it's
How
for
you would say it?
control. It's for control.
Okay.
It's more so for control as it is to um what's the other word from control? What's the synonym? Um
Manipulation.
exactly. It's to manipulate the masses. Because they know they put this red light here. They know everybody not gonna stop there. But it's to manipulate the masses. What do most people do when they see a red light? Stop. But they know there's gonna be several people that's not gonna stop. They don't care. They just want to manipulate the masses. So that's what it's about, bro. Because there weren't laws for a long time. It was power. If you were stronger, you won. That's what it was in the first, and I love that aspect. That's why I love war movies. I love Braveheart. I love Troy. I love movies like that because there's no faking. There's no debating when it comes to a life like that. It's power. I want that girl. I want her too. Let's fight. That simple. That's what the world was at first. There was no laws. And when you create laws, when it's not rooted in some type of divine foundation, then that's when you get what we have now. The world as we know it.
Respect. I have a follow-up question. So, fifth, and this is for everyone on the panel, right? Can someone be legally capable of consenting, but emotionally unprepared?
Bro, where you finding these questions, bro?
These questions I wrote down for the follow question.
Yeah, man, this is his show. This is his topic. So I expect him to ask these questions. So that happens quite often. I would say maybe that's to some of Dr. Love's points. So the thing is that this, right? Let's say you want to do something, right? And usually this is from a younger perspective. But then I also want to get to the older perspective in terms of how even the older man can be tricked and fooled, right? Or the older woman, right? Because we spent so much talking about the older man that we kind of disregarded the older woman, right?
Yeah, we did.
So the thing is that if you are 18, right, an 18-year-old may desire to be with a 40-year-old man, right? But that doesn't mean that she is emotionally equipped to deal with the requirements of that 40-year-old man. Because if you're going to get with a 40-year-old man, they have rules that the 21-year-old man is not going to have in the same capacity as the 40-year-old man. Let's just say the 21-year-old man does have rules. He will waver and be all over the place just so he can clap the 18-year-old, right? Mm-hmm. Because that's his peer. 18 to 21, they're still peers, right?
What does clap mean?
We talking about buns, getting buns. So it's TikTok language. It's TikTok language. So the 40-year-old man is less likely to waver on what his rules and principles are and how he's controlling the pace of that relationship. Is that a fair thing to say, Beyonda?
It's fair, yeah.
Okay, so a lot of times the 18-year-old may say, well, I want this older man because, she finds him attractive and he's just more established and mature, right? But that doesn't mean that she's mature to handle what it is that he has already on the table. You understand? And right. So it happens all the time when, you're talking about the not emotional part. Now, let's talk about where you have the younger man and the older woman. Let me tell you something about an older woman. An older woman will get you right. If you don't know it, you better know it. And older women have powers. Okay? Let me tell you something about an older woman real quickly. Let me tell you something about an older woman and the power and the power of her femininity and what she did to me as a 39-year-old man right now. I'm at work, right? And, I work with the public, and a certain person pissed me off. And I was like, and she saw the mood that I was in. That woman came to me and she said, She said, you look upset. What happened? I said, man, this guy over here, I'm trying to conduct these rules. She came up, she said, come here. She gave me a hug. She said, what you got on? She was talking about my cologne, because I like to wear my smell goods. And then she said, ooh, that smelled good. She said, let me get another whiff.
Yeah.
Do you know I forgot what I was mad about? That is the power of a feminine older woman. The power. She said, so what was that again? And I said, you know what? It don't even matter. It don't even matter. She got me right. She got me right. And I'm 39. Right? So if that could happen to a 39-year-old, that could happen to an 18-year-old man. And worse.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Let me ask you a question, Beyonda.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think that part of the issues with dating now is because, or not is, but is possible it could be because the woman is too liberated? I mean, do you think that a relationship thrives more when the woman depends solely on her man? Do you think it's possible? Let me not just take it all away. It's possible that it can thrive more when there's more of a dependence on the man, as opposed to her being so liberated and being so mature and knowing everything.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with a woman having her own stuff. It's the attitude that comes with it, the mannerisms. So a lot of times, whenever what's happened for the past 40 years, is that when women become liberated, they have this disdain for guys, and they don't necessarily respect authority. So they say I'm independent.
But you know why that is, right?
They say they're independent of men too.
You know why that is, right? Because that liberation comes with a price.
Well, yeah.
You can't be liberated. You can't hold up the bridge and not sweat. You know what I mean? So that liberation comes with a price. It's like, all right, baby, you want what we do, right? Get to it. And then that's the result. You know what I mean? Because you were never intended to do that. We're here to do it for you, my love. But you want to do it? I'm sure you can do it. And I'm sure you're going to look great doing it, babe. But we're not here to tell you what's going to happen afterward. Why? Because we don't know. We're not women. We know what's going to happen when we do it. Here's the proof. You got handsome, strong, way-making men. And this is what it is. Now, we don't know what happens when women become liberated. Now, we're living through the reality of that proof right now. Because you were never intended to do that. So that's what we're dealing with. I mean, it's cool for a woman to fall. Beyond is strong enough to catch you. You know what I mean? It's cool for her to fall in your arms, bro. Especially if you don't mean her harm. It's cool for her to fall. You know what I'm saying? But for somewhere along the line, we lost that concept. Like he said, Romeo and Juliet. Remember that, bro? Romeo and Juliet?
Yeah. Absolutely. Let me say this real quick. I'm sorry.
Not the law part, but I'm talking about the actual Romeo and Juliet story.
Right, the story. Let me take a brief cut in real quick. D Rich, thank you for the follow, man. Let me go ahead and acknowledge that as the purpose of this stream tonight. Yeah, go ahead, man, Manny.
Oh, that was quick. Dang, I thought you was about to go into a segment. I'm like, oh shit, let me mute. He about to do his thing again. But I'm like, yeah, I think the world was a much better place, and when it come to dating, of course, when the women were more intending to just find a man to fall in his arms. It's like when they started to try to pick, the men got kind of whatever it is. Some people say it was a plan to clip the men up and make it difficult for them and liberate the woman and break up the family. Whatever it is that got in the men's way that made the women suffer from his leadership, then I don't know. But when they started doing things on their own, and they was like, wait a minute, I can do what this dude was doing the whole time. I can do it. Once they realize that they can do it, bro, it's almost like swimming. Remember, you were scared of getting in 10 feet of water, and when you jumped in, and you were like, yo, this ain't that scary, and you kept jumping in nonstop. So it's the same thing, I believe.
Yeah. I hear you. Hey, Meerkat, did you answer the question I asked? I'll ask it again. Can someone be legally capable of consenting but emotionally unprepared?
Yes, that's true.
You can elaborate if you want to. Like, you know,
Okay, I mean, you're talking about the little princesses that were, taken care of all their life. They didn't have to do chores at home. Usually there was somebody coming and cleaning up the house, and they didn't have to, clean their own room. They don't have to clean their car. They got a brand new car when they turned 16. I mean, it was just, they had the luxury of not having to, go to work when they were 16 and still be in high school because, mom or grandmother, whoever was raising them, didn't have the money to get like stuff they needed for school or clothes or stuff like that. That's an extreme case, but it happens a lot if you think about it.
right.
So yes, that's what I think. The
Okay.
the 18, and it's the same with guys. There's these golden boys that were up on a pedestal by mom and dad. A lot of times by mom, that they didn't have to work for anything. Go get a job at McDonald's. Oh Lord, no. They got to, work at a job making $50 an hour. And you can't work those kids. I've worked with those kids. You can't work them with X-Lags. I mean, they are not, the parents raised them and disabled them from being mature enough to know to live on their own. To go take a job where you're a service worker, a support worker. You're not going to make $50 an hour. You're going to make 18 or 15 or even $12 an hour. The last job I had working for a hospital, I was making $18 an hour, and I was a unit secretary. Working 12 hours. I was working a lot of hours and stuff, but that's where I was at. I wasn't willing to go to college and I wasn't called to be a nurse. I wasn't called to be a doctor or anything, those things. I enjoyed doing what I was doing. I wish they would have paid more. I was the legal secretary and I worked for a clerk of court for 10 years. So you can have kids. It depends on how they're raised.
Okay. So, this topic was, definitely about more about consent and whatnot. And since we're on the topic of consent, in y'all's opinion, panel, right? What factors should determine whether someone can give meaningful consent?
I think your parents they so at 18, right?
Sure, yeah. Yep.
So and you are as in my household even before 18. I'm not gonna mention what's before 18 for the sake of TikTok, but you are as capable as what you can handle. I mean, you are as what's that C word you keep using?
Consent.
You are consented for whatever it is you can handle. You know what I'm saying? So if you say, "Hey, Dad, I want a car," I'm not going to agree to a car no more than I'm going to agree to a girlfriend. Like if I don't think you can handle either one of them, and as an adult, I can soundly assess. You know what I mean? You enough to make that decision. That doesn't mean that everything will be. See, I think that people get in the misconception that consent means perfection. No, I'm not consenting to the point of no discretion or to the point where there's no discrepancy. I mean, I'm assenting to the point of what you're capable of. You know what I'm saying? I think that's where that other lady was getting misconstrued. Is like because you're 18, I mean you're not gonna like have any risks. No, you're gonna have a riff. I'm just talking about I'm clearing you that you're competent enough to deal with that guy. And I don't feel like he's trying to manipulate you. That's where I'm talking about consent.
So you would say a
It's
factor
not my
in consent
job.
is the person being competent?
Capable, yes. Cognitive.
Okay.
Good word. Yes. You're cognitive of what he's doing, what he's saying, you understand. If I ask you what is what he just said to you, what does that mean? If you can articulate what he just said and what it means, you're good to go. And there's no more need for me to probe you. Because now I'm embarking on your humanity. Talking about care, nah, that sounds like you're treating them like an animal at that point.
Okay.
If this dude come home and I be like, hey man, what you want with my daughter, bro? Like for real. And he says it, he spent like 5 minutes explaining. And I asked my baby girl, hey, boo, what that mean to you? What he just said. If she can articulate what he said to me, to me, I mean, if she can articulate what he said to me, to her, I mean, to her, to me, and everything, the whole situation from her standpoint of what he said, and it makes sense to me, and it shows that she's competent. It's not right for me to probe any farther. That's almost like me trying to watch you make out. Like T.I. said, when he said he wanted to watch his daughter the first time. That's weird at that point. Yeah, exactly. And some parents need to chill with that shit stuff. Like at some point, some parents are weird. Like you're trying to live like vicariously through your kid and stuff. Like your kid is not your property. That's your gift to the world. So that's not your property, and it's only yours until they're 13. At 13, they're all gods. That's what the Bible says. So you talking about they make the laws about Christianity. The Bible says 12. And actually, it doesn't even say an age. It says when you start puberty, you're an adult. When a woman has her first shed, she's an adult. And when a man hits puberty, he's an adult. So yeah, like if you want to be real, like so, man, I'm not into all that control stuff, man. I'm gonna
Right.
give you what you need, and you gotta go from there, buddy. We're
Right.
gonna cut the strap like the Marines, man. And you're gonna
Meerkat,
figure it out because you're capable. If you weren't capable, you wouldn't be here.
hey Meerkat, what do you think? I asked the question again. What factors should determine whether someone can give meaningful consent?
Do they understand? Can they give you a clear understanding of what it means to be an adult overall? About responsibility. Are they responsible? Do they know what it means to be responsible? Do they have a work ethic? You know, if you don't have a work ethic, okay, you're gonna have a
I
hard
kind
time
of backlash
supporting.
at that. I
You're
didn't
gonna
develop
have
a
a.
good. I didn't develop a good work ethic till I was like 28.
Oh, I was raised with a work ethic. I was working, you know, we had a small farm. I was working on the farm when I was 12, 10, 11, 12 years old. So
You know, I worked.
my kids were washing their own clothes when they were 13, 14 years
Oh no,
old.
I worked. I got my first job at 14. I didn't develop. Listen to what I say. I didn't develop good work ethic. So I was 28.
How long did you stay at the job?
From 14 to 28. This is no
Then you had a work,
exaggeration.
you did have a work ethic because you didn't get fired.
Well,
You
no,
didn't
I was
lose
about
your
to
job.
answer your question. I was about to say from 14 to 28, I had like 15 jobs.
Oh, okay. Well, that's different.
Yeah, I didn't develop a good work ethic till I was about 28.
What caused you to develop the work ethic?
I mean,
Had to
just
pay bills.
well, nah. It's just, I mean, I had to pay bills then. I had a car, so I
Yeah.
mean, but I still had those hiccups. I guess like it was never instilled in me.
Yeah.
So it's
Okay. Well,
like
that's a
I guess I'm
difference.
one of those
Yeah.
golden boys that you was talking about.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm one of them. So it's
Yeah.
like working was kind of like a
That's
hobby.
that's probably why you're hard on your kids as far as being responsible and like the Do they understand what they're consenting to when they get to be at a certain age?
Well,
Right.
yeah, exactly. I mean, because I'm not going to limit. So look, even when you go to the doctor, you're what the doctor says. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know you can. You're the doctor. If you're
If the doctor
16,
said it's not looking good, then it's not looking good.
yeah, but if you're
But if he
16,
says it's looking good, then it's looking good. Now, if
well,
you have the power to supersede what he says, then that's when you're godly.
well,
But
you can. The medical profession at 16, they can see you without your parents going in that room. You can tell the doctor, I don't want my parents in here, my mom or dad in here, and they
exactly,
will
that's the
not
point
let
I'm
them
trying to
go in
make.
there. So the medical profession has set the age of consent at 16.
They can look at your private without your parents there.
That's what I said at 16.
Exactly. So, and you talking about they can't date? Who are you? You sound like you want to date them.
Who are you talking about?
Like any adult that's like holding their kids to that, and that's a real thing too. Like that topic comes next week, guys. Stay tuned. But like it's some like if Fifth let it ride. Like some parents be like, especially like single parents, like they be kind of like trying to like date their children. It's weird. Like that
Yeah.
psychological telepathy complex.
Yeah, there's a cult mentality too that's going
Yeah.
on. I'm
What do
watching a
you,
show called Ruthless. I don't know
what do
if y'all have
you,
watched Ruthless. It's on Netflix. Watch it.
what do you,
Or they live vicariously through their children. So a lot of weird psychological stuff that goes with parents.
Yeah,
They they resent some parents resent their kids. Could they
exactly. I have friends
could their
that went
kids
through
turn out
that.
better than they did?
Yeah, because of what they're going through. They don't want to be like that.
What do you mean, the parents or the adult?
The
let me get
child grew
let
up
me
in
get
that.
Fifth's response to my
Okay.
question.
Sorry, Yonder. I'm
No,
sorry.
you're good. I want to get through these questions because I only have about an hour left.
Okay.
What factors should determine whether someone can give meaningful consent, Fifth?
What factors? What factor? So what factors can someone have proven to pass already, or are these factors that they haven't even come to terms with yet?
So I'll give you an example, right?
Yeah.
So like if someone is under the influence, they're not able to truly give like they're not mentally sound to give consent.
Oh, like if someone's
You know what I mean?
if someone's
Yeah,
drunk
yeah,
or
yeah. So
high.
like that's an example of a factor I'm talking about, but also like what Man and Many said earlier. It's like are you competent? Are you able to articulate if someone wants you to do XYZ, right? Can you reason and say like if something's telling you no, you should be able to articulate and say no, I don't want to do that. So what are factors in your eyes that were what factors should determine whether or not someone can give meaningful consent? Because a lot of times people will say that they give consent and then afterwards they feel bad about
They
it
take it back.
and then they take it back. So like what's your opinion about that?
Man, that's a tough one.
At the same time, you have to allow life to happen too. That's with the good and bad decisions. You have to allow that transition to occur naturally as well.
So that's a okay. So the factor should be how they handle consent with other things in their life. For instance, if you're someone that has a hard time committing to a plan, a task that may be life altering, then that could also run into how you consent in other ways on a romantic level. So you can give consent to laying on your back, right? But you don't know how to give consent to someone running your credit for a home. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and I get it. That may be two different sides of the spectrum, But it's like if you're someone who is very indecisive, I think a person who's very indecisive kind of lacks in the factors that would make them in the condition to consent to many things. You know, because I feel like this is what I think, right? I think how you do something is how you do a lot of things. And I don't want to
That's good.
I don't want to like change it, but if this will help, I'll say this: someone who is not reliable.
Say that again.
Huh?
Say that again.
I said sometimes how you do one thing is how you do other things. Like for instance, if you
is it all things?
Well, I'll say all things in this way.
It sounds better. It sounds better when you say all things.
Yeah, when you do one thing is how you do all things, right? And I'll say it this way: if you're someone who can never who never commits to a task, then that will fall in your area of having an actual romantic relationship as well. So if you're someone who's indecisive in the things that you do when you're by yourself, you're gonna have that when you're with someone else. You know, if that helps. You know, so the factors I think you need to look for, or anyone needs to look for beyond with a particular man or woman, you know, for the men and women question, and that is their consistency. I think their consistency has a lot to do with their mind at the times in terms of things that are consensual. And consensual doesn't just mean, you know, sex. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just with, you know, with many life decisions. I mean, you know, there are men and women out there that do certain things outside of a romantic relationship because they lack having the ability to have an emotional connection with someone. So, you know how we talk about the cat and dog lady?
Yep.
It is assumed that a woman who always gets dogs and cats and no male relationships, like romantically, is a woman who is inept to be able to emotionally connect with someone. But she can emotionally connect with her animals because her animals can control that better than a man.
Right. Okay. I do have some other questions that I want to ask to everyone else. So, should laws prioritize protecting vulnerable people in this regard, even if they limit personal freedom?
Yes.
Yeah. I think that already happens, right, Beyonda?
Well, I mean, not really, because
Yeah.
because the whole thing is what we talked about before is the 30-year-old can't really be dating a 19-year-old because socially that's not accepted.
I mean, it depends on the audience in this sense, right? Because the older woman who gets with the young man gets a movie made about her and it has a happy ending. So the audience determines, the society at the time, the audience, the agenda of the audience will determine how that is perceived.
Like the boy next door, J-Lo. The boy next door. Yeah,
just like they said, the man that gets all the girls, he's cool. It's the same concept. But the woman, the teacher that sleeps with the football player, she's not on the front page of the news. You know what I'm saying? Why she gets away with it?
Check this
well, she'll
out.
get fired, but like no one's gonna care about her.
She don't get fired. She get a little suspension.
Well, now the boy.
No. They go to prison. They have gone to prison.
I've seen sometimes, like firsthand.
Well, let me put up what the Romeo and Juliet law is at school, right? So if you're 18 years old in high school, which I was 18 when I graduated, right? So the law would protect an older student right?
Nigga, they be lying.
But
The
but
little
you
kids
but
be
you
lying.
but it won't protect you and the teacher. So because they have what you call like leadership something. It's like a position.
Immunity.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a position like manipulation that they pull up in court and they say, well, it's inappropriate. Although he's 18, but it's inappropriate because she was his teacher.
Authority figures using people's subordinates. That's what it is.
Right.
It's like your manager. It's like your manager fraternizing with your boss, like
Or if
that.
you're in the military, officer.
Yeah, because you can sway their opinion.
Well, I mean, but is that legal?
No, because
Is it okay?
It's like he said, it's inappropriate.
But they're consenting adults.
Yeah, but Meerkat, that's the thing in the law. That's the thing in the Romeo and Juliet law that gets thrown out because of the fact that she was a teacher. Because if she wasn't a teacher, it'd be fine. But because she was a teacher, it's not. You see what I'm saying? And if they could prove that relationship started before graduation, there could be some problems. Now, she's not going to be going away for like 50 years or nothing like that. But I also think that the thing is the student would have to say, look, man, I'm 18, man. Get up, leave us alone. But she could lose her ability to teach ever again, though. Even if she doesn't go to jail, she could lose her she can't teach nowhere no more. That's it.
Bro, I seen one. The chick, but you gotta remember, the only reason I give grace a lot. The teachers are getting younger now, so that's why I give them grace. Because I think the teacher, in the case, the one I seen, she was only like 24, and she slept with the 9th grade dude. They said they slept with each other over 50 times.
Hey man, hey, look. I hope
she got arrested though, didn't she? She got arrested.
Well, I don't know. It's an open case.
Look,
like
the parents found the text or something.
Oh yeah. Oh, so you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, it was text messages. She was they were sending nudes. They were sending nudes.
Yeah.
Obviously, this 9th grade dude was packing because she was sending nudes. Like, I was like, what the heck?
Yo.
What are you? I'm just saying, hey, bro.
That may not be true. That may not.
I'm not saying I like it. I'm just saying, like, why are you going back and forth with a 9th grader 50 times? And he worked out, so you know, some of them little dudes be like grown men looking.
Well, there was the teacher that went to prison for this student that she got pregnant by.
Yeah, there's a movie about it too.
He was 7 years old, right?
No,
he was older than that. He was 13.
Yeah, 13. That's crazy.
When she come out of prison, they got married.
That's love.
Yeah, he was 13, 15 years old, and yeah, once and she was pregnant. If I'm not mistaken, Meerkat, I think she gave birth in prison.
She did. She was in prison when she
gave birth. That was a
Lifetime
movie.
Yeah, that was a movie. That's a very high profile.
What's the name of that, John? I'm about to watch that.
Yeah, it's a very high profile story because it's a real story, and it made the news because usually
it was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, because
watch that.
Usually it's the other way around. That
sounds like a Tubi movie.
The older man and the younger woman, but yeah, it was the older woman, and yes, he was.
Oh no! Look what he said in the box. The family gave them the green light.
Yeah, he was visiting. He was visiting her in prison. Yeah, but once she got out, I think when she got out, she was like somewhere in her late 40s, early 50s at the time.
Nah, but you see what he said?
40s.
Yeah,
late
he
40s.
said the family okayed it.
Doesn't matter. It was still wrong.
Yeah,
but anyway, wrong. The Lifetime movie also shows they've been married for a while. She's still like the authority figure in that relationship, and I don't think they're going to make it.
Well,
I don't think they're going to make it.
Well,
Hey, Beyonder.
Yes, sir.
What about that aspect? What she just said. What if the family okays it? Is it still like? How do you say? Well, how do you look at it then?
Yeah, because the law don't okay it. But go ahead.
I think the family supersedes the law.
Not when you're 15.
No,
Yeah.
When
See,
it
they
comes to a
don't.
child,
this is why we got to be careful with this topic.
Yeah.
Okay, this is why we got to be careful with this topic. I know we're explaining the story. But by that logic, then you have guys like 13. Then you have guys like R. Kelly who say that the women that he had at his house was because, and he said it in that Gil King interview. He
oh
said
yeah, I remember that.
he said their parents allowed it. He said why would their parents send their daughters to me, right? That was something he kept saying. Let's go to Michael Jackson real quick. We gotta be careful here. But let's go to Michael Jackson. Those parents okayed the quote unquote sleepovers, right?
Yep.
But that doesn't mean that in the eyes of the law gonna look at that and be like, nah, bruh, you a grown man and you got 12-year-olds at your crib and they not even your blood. Nah, son. We gonna have to deal with this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So somebody may okay something, but the law
So
and
you mean
think
so
about
charges? So in these cases, charges don't have to be pressed.
it. Okay. So let's do it this way, right? Because there's a lot of secret stuff going on. But if the school, because we're talking about a school, if the school deems a relationship that's inappropriate between a student and a child, then the law can get involved because the school is looking at this
Yeah, they're
crazy.
going against the Board of Education. Yeah,
Right.
the code of conduct.
Yeah.
It's also a morality clause.
Oh yeah, they got to sign an NDA.
Well, they know legally there's jailbait. 18-year-olds know that if they mess with a girl that's underage, it's called jailbait. They could go to jail, and then they would have to register themselves as a SO for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
But you guys do know that.
I don't care if the parents are agreeing with it or not. Once they have
Nah, you can't
sex,
say that because you know
dating is
that.
one thing. Dating is one thing. It's when you enter into a physical relationship. That's when it
Yeah,
becomes illegal.
well, you know the temperature of the climate of society dictates the laws. 'Cause remember back in like the early 2000s when all those little kids was dating older dudes. I
Mhm.
remember when I was in middle school, it'd be men pulling up in cars, picking up the girls. It was a real thing. Like they used to be in their passenger seats because in that generation, I believe me and Fifth in the same generation. When we was in middle school, we didn't look like kids. We looked like adults. Like it was 12 and 13-year-old women or girls. It was 12 and 13-year-old girls with big boobs. And men with beards. 12 and 13-year-old boys with beards.
That's the food additives that Dr.
But
Love was
no,
talking
there wasn't
about.
no food. That was just that generation. Because
No,
now,
but that
so
causes.
look, because the generation now is the same age, they look like little babies.
Yo,
They look like babies. So that's what I'm saying. The climate changes the laws. The laws are predicated on society predicates the laws. Laws change every day.
Yo, let me tell you something real quick. Sticking to what you said, man, and many, as far as like when you were in high school and you saw the older heads picking up the young girls, man, that used to piss me off. Oh, I used to hate that. There was a girl. I was 14. We were both 14 at the time. There was I had a crush. My freshman year of high school, right? And she was like, "Oh, well, I'm taken," and I was like, "By who? He go here? Oh, nah, he not in high school." I said, "What?" She goes, "Oh yeah, he 22." I said, "What?" And guess what?
God.
And guess what, man and Minnie?
Yo.
She said her mother okayed it.
Mhm.
While we're on topic, she said her mother okayed it.
The law, society dictates the laws, man. They was different. The laws was different back then.
Who was the guy? What connections did he have?
What do you mean? They probably live in the same town.
His family could have been well to do, and she was trying to arrange a marriage. Is basically what it sounds
Oh
like.
no, it wasn't even that. And I'm gonna get to an actual story that could be studied too in a second. But Apparently, I don't know how far back they go, but all I know is that she was 14 and he was 22, and I
Damn.
had an issue. I was hating. I was big time hating. I was like, "Yo, you with a 22-year-old?"
Bro, what's
I
this?
said, your parents. So she was like, "Now peep this, man, a minute." I said, "Are your parents okay with it?" She said, "My mother." Notice how she didn't say parents. She said, "My mother." The dad ain't around. Now, if the dad was there, I don't think the dad would have okayed that. That's just my opinion.
What about What about the senior going to prom with the freshman?
Uh, you talk now.
That's 14.
The freshman's 14 and the senior 17,
18.
18. That's in the Romeo and Juliet law. They're protected.
That's,
How about that?
the seniors go to the. I've seen it happen.
No, I know, but they are protected in the Romeo and Juliet law because he's an
It's 4 years.
upperclassman. And now check this out. Guess
I
where?
thought it was a 4-year law.
Yes. Guess where the law comes in. Guess where the law comes in. The law makes an exception if you are not 18 yet. So, for instance, he's 17. 17. So he's 17 when the school year starts.
In 3 months.
Right.
3 months.
He's 17 when the school year started. He was 17. When the school year started, she was 14. That's where the Romeo and Juliet law protects them. Okay, that's where it protects them. Guess where it doesn't? Guess where it will no longer protect them? If he graduates high school and now becomes a teacher at that school, he's cooked.
Damn. So maybe D-Love did have a point. Maybe they're considering the fact that once he gets out of school, his experience is going to be too advanced for hers.
But he knows that going in, so he misbehaves illegally, immorally, with his eyes wide open. So whatever happens to him is justified. Correct? Correct. When you decide to do that, when you decide to do what you want to do against whatever.
A lot of people don't know these laws, though. For real.
Well, some of it's general.
I mean, you know
yeah,
why?
it's general. They know the general law, but they don't know like Romeo and Juliet and all that.
Yeah, they don't know Romeo and Juliet because obviously the story of Romeo and Juliet was older than Romeo, right? So, but the thing is that that's why this law exists, because of that. Well, it's nicknamed after them. It's nicknamed after Romeo and Juliet. But the thing that is crazy is that
some people don't even know that 16 is the actual United States law of consent. That's the law.
Yeah, and then you have state laws. Romeo and Juliet applies when there's an age gap.
Exactly.
But like I said, they go by your birth year and what you do. That's why I said a freshman and a senior.
But Romeo and Juliet is typically for like, my bad, bro.
Because I have another story. Do you remember when Brandy dated Kobe?
Yes.
Damn,
okay.
I know that.
Brandy was already out of high school when her and Kobe went to the prom together.
Yep. I thought Romeo and Juliet mostly pertained to like 14 and 17, 13 and 15. I thought that's Romeo and Juliet. I didn't know that it pertained to 16 and up, because 16 is consent. 16, you can sleep with anybody as long as you consent. I thought Romeo and Juliet was strictly for 15 and under. I think that's what it is, bro. Romeo and Juliet is 15 and under. That 4-year gap comes into play. If you're 15, he can't be no more than 19. If you so on and so on, you know what I mean? If you're 13, he can't be no more than 17. So on and so on. Oh man, that sounds like a child.
Wait, hold on.
What in the world is going on here?
Okay, so before you come up in here, know the context of the conversation before you think somebody's saying something that they're not saying. That's number one. Wait,
That's
man,
what
man,
most.
I got it. I got it, man.
All right.
Okay, because I know this often happens with these subjects. They come in and hear the
They be
last
like,
few
oh, I want to
words.
hear. I want to hear.
One second. They come in the last few seconds and think we're promoting something. So what did you hear, Jam?
I really don't know because I just joined.
Okay. So so the topic today, or at least on this portion of the day, because I'm live for till midnight, is does the age of consent laws protect young people? You want to answer that question?
Mm, I really don't know.
Don't date, okay?
I mean, you could have an opinion.
You can elaborate. You
You could have an
opinion.
opinion.
Do you think your boyfriend is okay if he's
Hold
older?
on,
Hold on, man. Hold on. We don't want to influence an answer. We want her just to answer it for what the question is.
I would say that
I knew that was about to.
There it is.
That was a child, bro.
Yeah, it is.
A child of God. I don't know the age.
Yeah.
I think it was about 50.
Yeah.
My backwards.
There it is right there.
Let me ask you this.
Listen, people. Yeah, go ahead.
If you knew that this would kind of like, trigger. Why did you? You should have said, "Hey, would you mind phrasing another question that's more centered towards like dating?" Because like my question was more towards, okay, you want to know exactly why I asked that? It's because I was asking the question to really question women as to why they focus on one thing involving consent, but don't focus on the other stuff that has to do with consent.
That topic
That
was
was really
That's what
that
I
was
said
really my
earlier.
question, but I
It
couldn't
went right
really
over
ask
your
it
head.
without being
Beyond
polarized.
that, it went right over your head when I said it earlier.
nah. That topic was fine. It's just that the women didn't come up, and I think the reason why the women didn't
They're scared of it.
come up is because
They're scared of it,
this
bro.
this is so this
It's
conversation.
it's a lot of older women sleeping with younger dudes now. Bro.
Yeah, man. Hold on 1 second. So this topic is really unfair in terms of this. Women have monopolized that they're the only ones that could talk about this. So when a man talks about it, he's not met with the objective thought of he's being fair or rational.
But that's the point, though, because boys are the ones that get taken advantage too under consent. You know what I'm saying? It's not just little girl. It's not just young women that are taking advantage. It's men too, or little boys too, or like boys that are like. So like when Dr. Love was talking about the 18-year-old girl, right? Boys that age also get taken advantage of, but they only focus on the woman aspect of it. That's why I want to attack that. I want to attack that and see, okay, we're focusing on woman this, woman that, but we're not going to talk about the other part too. You know what I mean? That was really like my reasoning to ask a question. If it makes any sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I okayed the subject because I trust. Now remember, the title. I had to ask you to kind of do it a certain way because I'm very careful with TikTok's algorithm. So
Yeah, I know.
So I asked AI. I asked ChatGPT, "Is this algorithm friendly?" And ChatGPT said, "Well, if we could phrase it this way." Chat was like,
I'm not gonna lie, my question was a little bit out of there.
Right, Chat. Well, and then also beyond that, I'm also trying to protect you.
Yeah.
Other than just my channel, I'm also trying to protect that people don't come in like that young lady, right? Rather, came in and said, "What's going on here?" Because she didn't hear the whole thing.
She's back.
Okay.
Oh, she's gone.
Yeah. So, the thing is that, you got to hear the full context and then understand where we're going, because a lot of times people will just come in mid sentence and be like, whoa, what are they promoting? No, we are not promoting anything. We're not promoting anything statutory. We're not.
No,
We're just basically talking about the laws.
And my whole thing is, I was really wanting to like get some feminists up here only because like
Oh,
they have women empowerment, right? But then they're complaining about age of consent. And it's like, well, if you're so empowered, why don't you go out there and change it? You know, it's like women were the ones that changed it in the first place. I already researched the context of this topic, and women back then were the ones that advocated and were reformists and activists that made the age of consent 16 to 18 years old anyway. So if women were the ones that did it before, and they're complaining now, why don't they just use their empowerment that they have, quote unquote, and go out there and change it?
well, because they have to acknowledge that the women that they want to be feminists just like them are 18 as well. And to their benefit, those 18-year-olds will turn on those feminists and say, I thought you guys respected my right to choose. I'm 18. I should be able to choose a 40-year-old man. Get out of my business.
Exactly. It's a hole in their ideology, because
Absolutely.
you're calling an 18-year-old a child, which makes no sense, because that's the law.
They pick and choose what platform
exactly.
they stand on.
They pick and
because
choose.
the feminists are not protecting the issues of the sports, where the girls have had to swallow the trauma that is being pushed on them, and very few are standing up to protect them. And so where are the feminists to fight for me too, me too, me too? Well, I don't like the whole
That's exactly my point.
I don't like the whole feminist movement, period. I can't stand it. They have done more to tear women down than to lift them up.
Well, that's when I realized that it was kind of a facade, because whenever the Me Too stuff happened, celebrities were the ones that capitalized on that, not the woman that actually got messed up. Like, there's an actress, I don't know if y'all watched the show Charmed, the old show called Charmed.
Yeah, I'm familiar
The
with
actress, I forgot her name, Rose McGowan.
Yeah.
She actually got raped, but no one wanted to talk about it because it was such a taboo topic, and no one wanted to expose the industry. So when she was talking about it, no one cared. But then whenever it became popular, you get Angelina Jolie, Jennifer Lawrence, famous actresses whose career wouldn't have been where it is unless, because the thing is, they were blackmailed, but they weren't actually raped. They just took that as an advantage to tear down Harvey Weinstein and then get their careers popped off. That was the whole premise of that whole thing. And so what that did was that lowered the credibility of women who come out and actually say that they do get raped, but no one believes them now because of the fact that women lie, or the fact that women were found lying during that time.
Yeah.
That was the whole premise of that whole thing. It kind of, what it did was actually ruined the credibility of average women. Because average woman, whenever someone says, "Oh, I got whatever," no one believes them now, because there's been so many liars that whenever someone says that, they're prone to not believe what they're saying.
Yeah, bro. Average women now, and it's sad because I used to be like, average black women. It ain't even black women no more. It's all women. I met an Indian chick last week that was running game. Like, it's like, I don't know what, it's social media, man. It's just giving them this ideology that they get away with anything. Like, so yeah, you got a point there.
Or the fact that, I know you've heard examples about this before, where a college star, football or basketball, can go at a party, right? And I've seen this story play out many times, where like a college athlete is at a party, a girl wants to get with him, he says no. She lies on his name to get him in trouble. He loses that scholarship, loses his career, but then it finds out later that she was lying. What happens to her? Nothing. That's the whole premise of that,
You know that? Are you familiar with the actor Nate Parker? Because that happened to him.
Oh, that's
Nate
my
Parker?
boy. Yeah,
Yes, I think
he got blackballed. I mean, blacklisted.
What was he in?
What did he play in?
12 Beast of No Nation. I mean, 12 Years a Slave.
No. Birth of a Nation. He did.
Yeah, Birth of a Nation.
Yeah. He redid Birth of a Nation, the story of Nat Turner.
Right,
He also was in All the Lights. He was in The Great Debaters.
That's my boy.
He was in a couple of films. He was
Good actor, man.
yeah. It was a white girl. She accused him of
Same thing with Jonathan Majors.
She accused him of RAPE, right? And then when it went to court, it was, oh no, he didn't do it. We just had blah blah blah. So then when he goes on with his life to do his movie career, when he just so happens to do the movie Birth of a Nation, the story of Nat Turner. All of a sudden, that story surfaces, but he was cleared of charges because she lied. And he could have went to prison for a very long time, but nothing happened to her for perjury.
He would have had to file a civil suit against her for perjury.
The Great Debaters as well. I think was in that movie too.
Yeah, Great Debaters.
Yeah,
It's one of my favorite movies.
That's literally like nothing happens though.
That's
so
what Johnny Depp did to his ex-wife because she defamed him and lied about him and all kind of stuff.
And
And
Johnny Depp won too.
that was the root of why he filed suit against her.
Yeah,
I wish.
But Meerkat, that was civil, okay. So Meerkat, that was for defamation. He couldn't get. Okay, for instance, Meerkat, if he would have been guilty for domestic violence, then he would have got locked up. His counter thing wouldn't have put her in prison. All it did was get her for defamation because she did all this lying, and then he had the proof of what she did, and then he was able to clear his name in terms of him trying to get his career back, and he never quite got his career back.
Yeah, proof.
Yeah, but that's what these people have to do when the person that lied about him, nothing happens to them. Well, yes, they file civil suit. It gets blown up and on social media. Yeah, they get consequences because sometimes it's a financial judgment against them that they are, and they have consequences. They don't go to prison, but they have a consequential type financial prison because they can never own anything if they
mess
sell
up their representation.
all the money. So yeah, they get they get in trouble for lying.
Hey, Fifth, can they get them for defamation?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They got, so you can sue for what? So if you have been denied a job, employment, career, whatever it is, you can sue for what's called loss of gains income. Meaning, I could have got these things, but Meerkat, this is what I'm saying, Meerkat. Listen to this closely. If you accuse me of SSA that can get me years in prison, and you lied for lying for the perjury part, what would be the years that you could get for lying?
It'd be the same.
Okay, so then that's what Amber Heard should have got.
Exactly.
And that's the point. And that's the point that I'm making. And the point that Beyond is making, is that most of the times when it is a woman who is the prosecutor, she never does the time that the man would have gotten if he was guilty. That's the point that Beyond is making.
I kind of wish Dr. Love was still here because I was going to question her because she was saying that 18-year-olds shouldn't be the one dating older people, and I agree with her to an extent. But also, an 18-year-old knows what's right and wrong. So when 18-year-old women are going to college and they're lying about how the fact that the star athlete raped them and they lied, right? That person should be held accountable. They're not old enough. They're not adult enough to be dating a 30-year-old, but they're adult enough to lie in someone's name and get him thrown in jail. Doesn't make sense.
The state can pick that up and charge them with perjury. They can be because they tell you before you get on the stand, if you do not tell the truth and lie, you can go to jail for 10 years. Yeah, they tell them, they will caution someone, especially in a trial like that if they lie, they can be charged. Doesn't mean they will, but yes, they can be criminally charged and go and spend time in prison or whatever. But yeah, they can have legal. It will not be the time frame, Fifth, that you're talking about, 15, 20 years, but it is criminal charges. And then the guy can turn around and sue them civilly for defamation of character, for loss of wages, loss of income, loss of financial gain, if he did miss out on movies or whatever. And they get double barreled, and
But
they
at
should.
that
They
point,
should.
the person who is making the movies has the right to not even cast them. It's kind of similar to like I don't agree with this. So colleges, like before they even find out the guy's guilty, they'll just take the scholarship from the guy, even if the guy's innocent. They still don't care
Yeah.
because they don't want that kind of stuff on
Right.
their
When you
campus.
get that type of scrutiny, they're
And
going
then
to take
losing
everything
it.
away from you. When you get that type of scrutiny, they don't. The sponsors and everything don't want nothing to do with that type of stuff.
But colleges even pick and choose what they do too.
No, it's
Yeah.
not. It's not what they pick and choose. If you
Well,
tied
yeah.
in, if you tied in any type of scrutiny, it don't matter who you are. They
Whoever
pull
their
it.
benefactors are
They don't
control
want
a lot
their.
of times what they do.
They don't want
That's
their
true.
name. They don't want their name attached to that type of stuff.
So my whole thing is it should
Exactly.
be based off. It should be based on if the guy's innocent, he didn't do the crime. So the scrutiny shouldn't even matter because that guy was innocent.
Exactly. But sometimes they just don't. Just the
They
fact that
could
you're involved.
they could
No,
pause
I
his
get that.
scholarship till the criminal trial is over, and if he's found to be innocent, he should be able to pick that scholarship back up where he left off.
He should be,
They
but
have the
the campuses
discretion.
are run by. Hate to say it, but they're run by. I'm
Look
not
what
even gonna say.
happened
It,
to
never mind.
Kyrie Irving. They took all his sponsorships and everything.
Yeah, but Kyrie's still rich.
Well, yeah, he bounced back. I mean,
Yeah,
but
he's yeah. This is what I will say, right? I do say that I say that the court system, and I could be wrong here. I could be a little bit biased, but the court system, when in terms of like the relationships or whatever consent, whatever you want to call it, is they're very lighthearted when it comes to the woman aspect, and I do feel like we're starting to see a little bit of pushback on that because I don't know if y'all seen the Mackenzie Shavilla case on Netflix where she was charged with two homicides for crashing the car into the wall, which unalived her boyfriend and his best friend, and they found out that it was intentional because she never put the foot off the gas. So
Yeah,
that
I saw that.
damn,
I saw
that
that.
she purposely rammed it into the wall.
yeah,
She
yeah, she
did.
did. It
She
was purpose.
purposely rammed it
Yeah,
into the wall.
and they proved it with the forensics and the people who were experts on
Bro,
cars.
see,
They
and
were
that's what's scary. That's what's scary about the level of this deceitfulness a woman could access, like within that emotion realm. It's scary, bro,
Putting that bathroom down there.
because they'll access that level of deceit and you won't even see it coming. That's
yeah,
the scary part. You don't even see it coming.
yeah, pretty much.
It's like a punch that you don't see is the punch that hurts the most, and that's where they get dangerous. They talk about men are more dangerous. I disagree. I disagree that men are more dangerous. Men are more
I
power.
feel
Men are
like
more powerful,
it's
of course.
equal in
Yeah,
in the violence
I'd rather
aspect.
say that than yeah.
It's much more. It's definitely equal because I remember I was having this talk with Dr. Love, and I was saying that women are very violent. There's literally a TV show that is dedicated to talking about how women snap and unalive their husbands. It's literally an entire show. It has like 9 seasons.
You
Cases upon
said
cases
9 seasons.
cases and cases upon women just unaliving people because they got angry.
You said 9 seasons.
Yeah,
Golly.
something like that. Yeah, crazy. So I don't know. That was my whole like motivation for this topic. I have a few more questions though.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, go ahead,
So
brother. Finish strong. We got 30 minutes. But check this
okay,
out.
yeah.
You could go until Zacchaeus comes up because he might not pop up exactly at 6 o'clock. But we can go.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I kind of want to ask you all this. Do you guys think that current laws are keeping up with modern social realities?
I think they are gradually. They're gradually. It may be taking some time, but I think some of the cases are so extreme that it pushes it. And yeah, I think they are gradually getting there.
Yeah, I agree with Marquette because they're starting to incorporate a lot of innovation in the judicial, not just the judicial, but just government and as a whole, they're starting to not just judicial, but government as a whole, they're starting to get younger. They're starting to get younger, and they're starting to like, especially with the youth, they're giving a lot of breaks. So, if that answers your question, like you
Yeah.
saying, are they like starting to understand more like where this stuff is coming from, or is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so I guess my whole thing was, like if current laws are staying with the modern social realities, do y'all think that society has too much of a say when it comes to certain cases? Because a lot of times social media is a big factor now to the point where like it can definitely sway a jury or sway the public or sorry, sway the court system. And a lot of times I feel like the court system, not all the time, but as of recent, there are a couple of cases where like the
Well,
court system was like, in favor of what the social media was saying.
well, the people are supposed to run the law. We the people. This is a democracy, so we're supposed to be okay with how the laws are. We're supposed to run. We're supposed to run the laws. Like if we don't agree with the laws, we're supposed to come together and get that law taken out. You know what I mean? It's for us. The government works for us. At the end of the day,
Well, they're supposed to.
it's supposed to, but a lot of people are unaware of that. That's what they mean when they say your vote matters. Like it's bigger than your vote at the ballot. It's more like it's more of a statement than just saying your vote at the ballot. It's like, bro, what you have to say matters. Like if you take the right channels and really approach your put your thought and your question and your voice in the right
Platform.
microphone, it'll make a difference. But a lot of people don't know the channels and the resources, so it just goes disregarded.
They're also getting better with the bullying laws also.
Oh yeah.
That's a big, huge thing. Bullying online, especially with these young kids and these, they target these weak children they see mentally weak, and they just go, and there's so many young children, and they are children, unaliving themselves. It's bad. It's
I
really
hear
bad.
you. It's definitely a slippery slope, but I will say that anything can be considered bullying now. If I say 50 got a big forehead, um,
Yeah,
and
I
he,
get that. I totally
like
understand.
that, but like he can take that an entirely different route to the extreme, and I'd be the one in trouble because I just say he had a big forehead.
Yeah,
We
That's
are
how
kind of
that's how
soft.
little room you have to
Yeah, they're
make
kind of
something really
soft
small, really
now.
big.
They're
You know
kind
what
of
I
soft.
mean?
there's a case right now, or a situation right now, where a young girl unalived herself, and the group that pushed her and pushed her and pushed her, tore her down at school and online and everything, are still coming after the mother. They are still doing things to the mother and the family with like no conscience. They have like no conscience. They're heartless. It's situations like that. I'm not talking about, oh, they got their little feelings hurt, somebody, I mean, some of that stuff is so petty, it's ridiculous. I'm not talking, yeah, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the true bullying that goes on. I don't, schools need to do a better job of monitoring, the bullies at school, because they have to know who they are.
No, I was saying
I don't know about is bullying was badder. What is it? Pre-COVID to me, it chilled out now. These YNs now though, they're getting hard to handle because like they're like take. You see what they're doing in New York? They went on a Brooklyn Bridge and shut the whole bridge down.
Yeah, that's a new situation. That's a relevant thing that's going on right now. The takeover.
Yeah, the YN takeovers. It's state to state. It's state to state.
Well, okay. The correct term is teen takeover, and yes, there's actual law. There's actual not laws, but they're violating what you call loitering laws, and the police are able to camp out in certain situations now ever since it has happened. So they choose malls, they choose many other places, and what they're saying is right. And what they're saying is
Maybe in the thousands.
right. Right.
They're gonna cause the military to have to be called in too to handle all that because the police they're limited.
Well, they can't pew pew on. They can't pew pew on.
Well. Here's the thing. It depends on where it's happening. So if you're shutting down a bridge and it has nothing to do with protesting, because there's freedom of protest. Right. But what they're doing is not protesting.
Right.
So this is why they have you could disperse that. If it was an act of protesting, it'd be different. For instance, right, a private property has every right to say, "Nah, y'all need to go. I need to keep it moving, man. There's too many of y'all over here. It's becoming a fire hazard. Y'all got to keep it moving." If that's the situation, you know what I'm saying? So there are some things within that, and then what it is that they've been able to trick the cops because what they'll do is they'll tell the cops. What they'll do is they'll put on social media, everybody meet up at this spot. So then the cops go to that spot, but then really secretly they go to the other spot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They do that just to kind of set them up.
And they're not even really like causing any harm. It's just disorderly. That's all.
Right. It's only when it becomes that problem because listen, rolling deep is nothing new. When I was young, we rolled deep. We
not that deep, bro.
Well, I mean, not that deep, but we didn't. But we didn't cause no problem. You know what I mean? But we was just chilling. Now when the problem showed up, we was out because we know that when the cops show up, they don't have time to ask who did what. They RICOing. They're gonna arrest everybody up on some RICO stuff. But that's
ask questions later,
right? But that's where street smarts comes into play because street smarts tells me, yeah, let me not even be over there because I'm already knowing when they pull up, they putting everybody in the van. You know what I'm saying?
Paddy wagon.
There you go.
How do you explain that to mom and dad when you get home?
They don't have a mom and dad.
I know that's the sad part about it.
Their mom and dad is like the mom is older than them.
Well, the mom is working.
And their mom is 15 years. Their mom is like their big sister.
Well, see, before we get to that, let's talk some real talk because this is in my generation too. The mom is working. The mom is at work. So she don't even know. She half of the time she don't even know where the kid is at. That's a problem. But the mom is at work because she's a single mom. You know what I'm saying? So she's not with the dad.
She's only 16 years older than him.
You know what I'm saying? So the mothers are working 2 jobs. You know what I mean? There's probably like 2 to 3, kids in the house. She probably taught them how to cook for themselves without burning the house down. You know what I mean? So she don't even know. You get that situation where she don't even know.
They smoke tree together and all that. So
I mean, well, that's the extreme part of it. But we're talking about
I'm just saying that aspect because it's hard for them to take them serious.
I mean, I hear you, but we're talking about like working people, man. Most people are most families are working people. I know we got shorty over here lighting a spliff. I get it, but most people are working people, and in these single family homes, the parent that the kid are with is working. They're working. They're working either real early or real late. It is what it is. And so this is why, you have that situation. And then you got the kids who are behaving themselves. They're not causing any trouble at all, but they want to hang with their friends. Yeah, see, we got to keep in mind, because not everyone's a troublemaker. I resent that remark. Because not everyone's a troublemaker. Because I was in high school and I like to hang out, and I didn't do no crimes. Now, did I know people who did them? Absolutely. Classmates, whatever. You know what I mean? And when they was doing that, I was somewhere else because I ain't trying to get caught up like that.
Yeah, I'm Cologio from Bronx Tale. Remember Cologio from Bronx Tale?
I don't know the name, but I know the movie.
Bronx Tale. He was with all the bad guys, but he was the good one.
Oh, yeah. He was the good one. You're right. Yeah, he was the
And
good one.
that's me.
He was the good one. Crazy thing about the good one, right? They get thrown in it anyway. They get thrown in it anyway, man. That's the wild part about Bronx Tales is a wild movie because what's that scene? It was the hot dog cart, right?
Yeah.
And it crushed that guy. They wasn't trying to kill that guy, but it happened. The judge ain't trying to hear that.
Exactly.
Let me provide another question. I have another question.
My bad, Beyonda.
So no, you're good. I wanted to talk about it. So obviously, in regards to like maturity and whatnot, everyone has an opinion about when they think someone's mature enough to handle certain life uh decisions. So what do you guys think? At what age should a person be legally responsible for all of their decisions? Because if someone quits a crime at the age of 15 or whatever, they won't wait. They'll wait until they're 18 to try them as an adult. So I want to hear y'all's opinion about that.
Okay, so then you want to know what age should someone be trialed as an adult?
Well, no, I was giving that example as to like because they're held responsible for their actions at the age of 18.
Yes.
Even though they did it at 15.
Yeah.
So at what age do you guys think someone should be legally responsible for all their decisions? No matter how old they are, they should be legally responsible for their choices.
Okay, so if you are because there's something called juvie, right? So if you're 18, you should be tried. If you're an adult, you should be tried as an adult. If you're not an adult, I don't believe you should be tried as an adult. Although unfairly, it happens to people of certain backgrounds, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So that's where things get a little unfair.
Or certain crimes. If the crime's heinous enough, then they'll wait until you're 18 to try as an adult.
Right. Or certain crimes, right?
Well, I'm like Charleston White, because Charleston White did 16 to 28, I think, or maybe 16 to 30. No, 16 to 25. I'm like Charleston White, you gotta nip it in the bud. Like sometimes with these kids, man, they bad seeds and they need prison. You know what I mean? And it's sad to say, but it makes them better. Like Charleston White said, a lot of people say prison is the best thing that happened to them. If not, they probably wouldn't be here.
So are we skipping?
I know
we
it's
skipping
hard to
juvie?
say.
Are we skipping juvie?
I know. Yes, no. Juvie is a part of it.
Well, that's where we have to make the distinction because.
Yeah. It's called juvie life.
Yeah.
So when you do something real bad as a child, they give you juvie life.
Okay.
So that means you're in. Can I say jail?
Yeah, you can say jail.
So you're in jail until you become an adult, which is 21.
Yeah.
That's called juvie life. So yeah, that's what Charleston White did. He was in jail from 14 to 21. So he said that was the best thing that ever happened. Because you gotta think it's a hard pill to swallow. You're like, oh my God, it's a child. But at the rate that they're going, they're not gonna get any better. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes, yeah, I'm a firm believer of discipline, man. In a lot of cases, they need juvie life. Because they're not going to be a good factor in society, man. They're just going to be they're going to disrupt society, and they're going to hurt one of your kids, one of your good kids, one of our good kids.
For sure. Okay.
Let Meerkat answer it.
Yeah, Meerkat. So I actually ask you again, Meerkat. At what age should a person be legally responsible for all of their decisions? I think she might have left the phone, honestly. We can go back to the question if I remember. Yeah, I'll move on to the next one. I have another one. So obviously we know that the youngest age you can be to emancipate is 14, at least in California it is. So do you guys think that teenagers should have more legal autonomy over their lives?
Man, that's a good question because that's also within a consent thing. Because they're giving 16-year-olds the consent to emancipate themselves. But that's different in different states, right? Because in California, you could emancipate as early as 14, right?
Yes, 14 years old. Usually the age is 16, but
Okay.
14 to 16 years old across the entire country is the limit for being emancipated from your parents.
So if
So
I don't, why can't they work then? They can't work that young.
you could
They
work
can.
at certain
You
states. You
can.
could work if you're 15. Yes.
Yeah.
You have to get
You gotta
no.
get a workers. You gotta get a workers
That's
thing.
gotta
Yeah,
be
that
lax.
yeah, that's what you get. You get you get a, depending on the state, you can get a worker's permit and work at 15. Yeah.
Yeah, from the school board.
Or you can
Yeah,
go to
so
social
what do you guys
service.
think about that? So do you guys think that teenagers should have more legal autonomy over their lives?
Autonomy meaning control.
I think it depends on the circumstances because some teens are put in such situations because parents are not getting along, they're divorced, and their parents are just, and they just can't take it anymore, and they need to get away from them. Or one parent is jerking the other parent kid around, to get back at the other parent, and this child is just being traumatized over and over. So yeah, I think they should be able to. It depends on the situation, the circumstances, or the kid just doesn't feel safe around the stepdad, the boyfriend, the girlfriend. Because there's girlfriend and boyfriends that will make their lives like living hell. So they should be able to have a say on, getting out of that situation legally, especially when there's like friends family that said, yeah, come live with us, but the friends family can't help them because the parents override, and they are really doing harm to this child. And the friend, they have a friend that has family, or you have aunts and uncles that want to help and they can't because the parent, are they afraid the parent's going to keep the kids away from them, that they'll never see them again, or grandparents. So yeah, kids even younger sometimes should have an advocate that can step in for them and legally show that these parents are detrimental to this kid's mental health, physical health, whatever.
Oh yeah, CPS been very busy. Trust me.
Well, they're not always in the right either. So you have to be careful about CPS because they got some messed up people working there too. So you just have to be careful.
I also think that the reason why we deem teens as like so childish is because of the fact that they're being raised to kind of like depend on their parents. If they're raised to be more competent and like to do things on their own, I feel like we'd have more contributing members when they grow up and become 21. A lot of times we're not preparing the children to be uh good workers. A lot of times I feel like school also plays a part in that because school, in my opinion, I think it hinders a person's actual ability and potential because all they do in school, they teach you to become a good employee. They're not setting you up to be an employer or a boss or entrepreneur. You have to learn that on your own.
You know what
So I
I
feel like
saw?
That's
school.
where public
You know
school
what I
came
saw on
from, is
Dilemma?
to raise workers.
You know what I
That's
saw
where
on
that's where public school is from.
You know what I saw on Dilemma? It's on Netflix. School is nothing but a system that was created to. So when you go to like college, I mean when you go to the job and they see your degree, all that tells them is that you have the ability to accomplish something. They don't look into what you can actually do and all that. To the system, it shows that you're able to start something and finish it. That's all school does. Because there are many people in these high ranking positions without school.
How well
So
they can pass a test too is the other
exactly
thing.
how well they can be orderly. That's all school does is create an orderly individual. That's all it does. Because there's proof that school does not dictate your greatness. Look at KFC. Look at who else is it? What's that dude name that did the internet? Bill Gates.
Steve Jobs, LeBron James, anyone
Yeah,
that is
like
successful now, they didn't go to college.
yeah, school is just to show that you can be an orderly individual. That's it, bro. Like school is getting less and less valuable. That's why they're giving it away for free now.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, the education is key, but there are many ways to obtain an education. We're getting education right now. So this school is nah, it's not it. Especially the more and more it gets away from the natural aspects, the worse it gets. They can't even write in school no more. They got laptops.
And they don't know how to do cursive either. I learned
Exactly.
cursive in second, third grade, I think, and I don't think they don't even know how to do cursive now. You know?
Bro, they said I mean, I guess in the future it won't matter, but they said that the average kid that finished school now is at like a what is it, fifth or like a sixth grade reading level?
Man, right now it's fifth grade.
Yeah, fifth grade reading
Yeah,
level.
it
Yeah,
says
I was reading at man, when I was in first grade, I was reading at a freaking fourth grade reading level, fifth grade reading level. I was above my reading level. You know? It's crazy.
well, the school gets a check if you could diagnose that there's special ed.
If you're slow, yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
So it's a benefit. Yeah,
I had
absolutely.
no idea about that. What the heck?
Yeah, they get an extra money for every slow student.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Wow.
Special
That's
ed,
insane, bro.
special needs, autism. That's why they be so quick. That's why they be so quick to
ADD,
deem you.
ADHD.
That's why they be so quick to deem you as one of those things.
Yeah, because
insane.
ADD and ADHD are deemed as disabilities, and you can get a check for that when you get a certain age.
Well, your parent can overrule it.
They can, yes.
My mom did me. She overruled mine. So,
Also,
yeah,
autism too. I think you mentioned that, man, a minute. Did you?
yeah,
Yeah,
autism.
yeah, autism as well.
Well, it depends. It's a spectrum. It
Yeah, it's a
depends on
spectrum level. Yeah.
yeah, where you at, where you fall on the spectrum. It depends.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's really insane. Okay.
Yeah.
My next question is chronological age the best measure of a person's ability to consent?
Meerkat, you got that question?
What is the question?
Yeah,
The
go
question
ahead.
is,
Beyond
I'll ask it again. Is chronological age the best measure of a person's ability to consent?
It's a start, but where it finishes is, do they have the aptitude? Do they have the cognitive level to whatever the consent is?
Okay.
Yeah.
Who determines that? I'm thinking is if it's applying for a job, if it's applying for a loan, if it's applying for military, if it's applying for a job or whatever, then whoever they're answering to, I guess, would determine that based on their history and their training and references. You have to have reference. You have to look. It's like a college. It's like a job application. It's to me that's where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
You're fine. You're good.
Yeah, I think it's a start. Just like Meerkat said, I think it's a start. Going by age. A lot of things are age based and age specific. You know what I'm saying? In terms of how we can measure how you're able to handle such tasks. But like Meerkat said, we also got to go by your cognitive responsiveness to said thing. So I think it's easier for us to say that we think someone, going back to the dating part just a little bit, that if someone is 25, that they're 35 is probably better equipped to date a 55-year-old if that's how old they go. But sometimes we could say, well, if they're under 35, then the person should be a little closer to what their age is, at least a 10-year gap. And remember, we talked about age gaps once upon a time ago, right, Beyonda?
We did.
Right.
Yes.
So sometimes the gap of the age will determine if it's a 10-year difference, 20-year difference. 10, I think 10 years still puts you in the realm of relatability. Once you get to 20, you can be a little out. But I think once you become like my age, 40, dating a 60-year-old ain't that much different.
Right.
So, at that point, you 40 and she's 60, y'all.
I don't know, bro. I beg to differ, bro. That nigga Jay-Z looking like he 21. So
Well, Jay-Z's what, 55?
yeah, so I don't know, bro.
Because he doesn't grow a mustache, that's why.
Well, they've been drinking that child blood too, so.
Wow. But yeah, Jay-Z's 56, and Beyonce is early 40s? Is she 40 yet? She gotta be 40 now, right?
She's definitely in her 40s, yeah. Probably close to 50 now.
Yeah, Beyonce is probably.
Y'all do realize they have the money to keep themselves
and
physically
the
looking
money,
younger.
exactly, the resources to even be able to
come on,
maintain frame.
They have nannies, they have house cleaners, they have drivers, they have cooks, so they don't deal with normal everyday people's stress.
No, I'm just speaking of just the age gap. The point, the point is just the age gap scenario. I think once you get a certain age, the age gap starts to become irrelevant between the two when they're like above like 35, 40. You become 40 years old and you get with a 60-year-old person, nobody's even going to even say anything.
No, nobody.
No, why would they?
Nobody. Well, there's a show about this.
The kids might, believe me, the kids.
It's called Age of Attraction. It's on Netflix.
Yeah, I watched that show.
That show is pretty much like, so there was a dude, he was like 28. No, he had to be like 31, dating a 50-year-old. And the kids thought it was weird. And the kids are older, by the way. They're not like little kids. They're like, older, like they're older than 18 years old. And so, like, I guess it is really like, depends on who you're talking to,
Plus, if there's a huge inheritance that they're standing to possibly lose too. Our owner of the company, that happened down here in New Orleans with the guy that owned the Saints and his wife and his adopted daughter. Well, he had put a trust in place that was irrevocable, putting his wife if something happened to him. Well, when he did pass, his adopted daughter, tried to step in and say, no, she's, I'm his daughter. I'm not, but there was an irrevocable trust that he had put in place that the adopted daughter didn't have rights to. So Gail, I can't think of her last name now, but anyway, she stepped in. So yeah, kids, if even in older years, kids will get fighting mad if mom or dad wants to date somebody who's older or younger. So that's another issue to think about. It's not just little kids. It's and then the family, it feels threatened. Oh, they're going to lose control over being able to tell mom or dad what to do and stuff like that.
I have one more question and I'll be done.
Okay.
In y'all's opinion, how should the law distinguish between consensual relationships and exploitation?
Well, it depends on what's happening in the relationship, what's going on in the relationship, and who is saying, "Oh, this is happening." This is happening, and I'm worried about my loved one or whoever. It's whoever's telling.
Got you. Okay.
Hey, Beyond it, man, I'm gonna let you control the outro of your topic. Zacchaeus, you there, brother?
Hey, I'm here. What's good, man? Yo.
Hey, I'm gonna let Beyonda end off his show, but since you popped up and your topic is next, you want to answer the Beyonda's topic. His topic is does the age of consent laws protect young people?
That's a very deep question. Does protect young people? To a certain degree, I would say, because if you we years ago, back in those days in the 1950s, you could have, like Elvis Presley married a 14-year-old. That they didn't really look at it that way. But now I think it's more serious, a little bit more serious with that. But when it comes to age and dating, 18 and up is like the idea. 18, 19, and 20 and up is the idea way of age of dating, you know? So I would have to land there because yeah. I hope I answered the question.
Yeah, you did. Beyonda, you
Yeah.
have the floor. You go ahead and do your thing, man.
Yeah, next time you do this with, I'm gonna have a more dating based question. Just because it is a polarizing topic, and people aren't really comfortable talking about it. Which I don't know why, because we're all adults. We should be able to talk about tough things and whatnot. But it is what it is. But yeah, I'll be here for the most part for Zacchaeus' topic, and I'll definitely be there for yours as well, Fifth, whenever you have yours. So
Yeah,
thanks
absolutely, man. Hey,
for having me on.
Hey, man. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Thank you, brother. I don't necessarily have a final thought on your topic. Meerkat, do you have a final thought on Beyond this topic before we go to the next program of the next part of the program? Meerkat, you there?
Hey, I had to step out. I'm back now.
No, it's okay. We're about to get to Zacchaeus' portion of the program, but before we go, do you have any? Well, we're not going to go anywhere, obviously. But before we move on to the next topic, Meerkat, you have any final thoughts on Beyond this topic?
No, I think we've been from here to there with it, and I think we've pretty much discussed everything.
Okay.
And people have to be taken as an individual. That's what I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
All
man. Kev,
ages.
what's up? Hey, y'all.
So we're about
Hey.
So we're about to get we about to go from one controversial topic to another one.
Oh no.